A mild day here on the shores of Lake Erie. 42 degrees, minimal wind, partly cloudy skies. It should stay like this most of the afternoon. And two first-year head coaches are leading these teams. Bob Jasinski was the offensive coordinator with Carolina, and Gus Bradley was the defensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, and taking over their respective teams in Cleveland and in Jacksonville. We have the flip of the coin. Cleveland won. They have deferred. And so Jordan Todman, who's number 2 in the AFC in kick returns, is back. And to kick off will be Billy Cundiff. So the Cleveland Browns, who began the season 3-2, have staggered just a bit since, as we told you. They've lost 5 of 6, 2 straight, losing to Pittsburgh last week, 27-11. With the wind really not affecting the ball so far in pregame warmups as we watch, and on that kickoff right there, it's out of the end zone and a touchback to the 20, which will take us to the starting quarterback for the Jaguars today, Chad Henne. And against Houston last week, Solomon, he was 23 of 32 for 239 yards.
Well, you know, he's played really well, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have scored on their opening drive in each of the last 3 games. No other team in the NFL has scored on the opening drive in 3 consecutive games. And so Chad Henne right now has got this offense moving.
A lot of that is scripted, isn't it?
That's right.
First down and 10 with the pressure from Kruger. It goes outside. It was tracked on the play by Harbor. Browns look like they may have reeled it in, although Clay Harbor, the tight end, was over there fighting for the ball. And you see the ensuing scrum. And Bill Levy is our referee today, and someone is head over heels.
Well, there are 2 guys. They're both Jacksonville Jaguar players with one Cleveland Brown defender in the midst of it. Looks like DeQuell Jackson, but the ball's going to go back to the Jaguars.
And it was claimed inside by Danny Noble, a tight end. Even though Harbor was the one to get it, it's a pickup of 7. His elbow had hit the ground. The ball was blown dead. So at the 27-yard line, second down and 3 to go. Drew will be in the slot. You can see him on the move. Chad Henne. Mercedes Lewis with only a catch last week, and then finally belted there by DeQuell Jackson. Picks up 4 and picks up a first down for the Jaguars up to about the 31-yard line. A lot of movement on the line when Eugene Monroe was traded back early in the season. They brought their number 1 pick, Jokel, over to the left tackle. He was injured, so there's been a lot of shifting, except for the center, Meester, Rackley at the left guard, Winery at the right side. Cecil Shorts had an 8-reception game last week against the Houston Texans. Maurice Jones-Drew with the big game, as we talked about in the open. And here comes a run by Maurice Jones-Drew, and he is again stuffed as he takes it up the middle. And Shard was right there. Desmond Bryant, no gain on the play. They stay at the 31. Phil Taylor anchors the middle of that new 34 defense for the Cleveland Browns, and that means that they've taken a former defensive lineman and made him an outside linebacker, and that's Jabal Shear. Darius Eubanks gets the third start at that position. Different start over the last 3 weeks because of injuries. And Joe Hayden is the headliner here. C.J. Ward had some pretty interesting comments about the offense earlier this week. There's a pass to him. J.D. broken up by Buster Screen. Nice hit on the wing. Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Wow, you can feel the impact on this one, Kevin. Feel it. Whoa. Body snatcher, Buster Screen. Little guy laying a lick on Maurice Jones-Drew.
Screen is number 3 in the NFL in passes defensed, and he has been a target a lot.
He's been a much improved player in Ray Horton's defense, and that's good coaching, because I think a lot of players on this defense have improved this season.
So on the opening drive, here is a 3rd down and 10 for Henne. And he finds Cecil Shorts, who's going to be shy of the first down. Hit by Jackson, also by Armani Bryant. He's up to the 37-yard line. He picks up 6 right there. And on the first possession, Jacksonville's going to have to punt.
Yeah, you can see from the bunch formation, there's Cecil Shorts sitting down underneath the zone. Has to be able to create yards after the catch, and you've got to know where that first down marker is. Get going vertical and try to hit the first down marker. This Cleveland Brown defense wanting to improve on 3rd down.
Brian Anger will punt for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jordan Poyer is back inside the 15-yard line for the Cleveland Browns. And from the 15, Poyer trying to get outside and finds a corner, and now he gets a block, and he's off to the races and lost his footing, and down he goes. Wow, they set that up beautifully. Jordan Poyer, a rookie out of Oregon State, with a 38-yard return after the 48-yard punt. So the Browns will get great beginning field position. Well, the starter, Jason Campbell, is out with a concussion. Also has bruised ribs. Whedon gets the start. Third different time he has been put in that position after the 38-yard punt return. Whedon 1st and 10. Looking deep. Aims for Gordon with the catch. He got it. Working on the rookie, Dwayne Grotz. It's a 42-yard pickup. It's 1st and goal, Browns.
I got to tell you, this is one heck of a throw by Brandon Whedon. Gordon continues to fight to get on top, and then watch as he works his way back to adjust to the throw. Whedon was under pressure. He cut it loose and put the ball in great position for Gordon to just barely get 2 feet in bounds for the reception.
He's over 1,000 yards on the season. Here's a 1st and goal handoff from the 5. And down to about the 1-yard line with the move right there and right into the teeth of that Jacksonville defense. And it was Ogbonnaya who picks up 4. So 2nd down and goal for Cleveland. It'll be the 3rd play of the game. Boy, this wide receiver Gordon has been a terrific story. We talked about last week and already making his presence felt today.
Yeah, we've seen Gordon make the big catch and then the long return by Poyer. The Cleveland Browns have gone 19 consecutive possessions without scoring a touchdown on their opening drive.
Billy Wynn, a defensive lineman, tries to lead the way for McGahee. It's a 1-yard bolt. It is a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns. With Wynn, the defensive linemen are opening up the door, and McGahee gets a touchdown run, his 2nd of the season for Cleveland.
Wow, if you're Cleveland, you could not have started this game any better. We already told you Jacksonville had scored on their opening drive in 3 consecutive games. The defense comes away to put an end to that streak. And how about the offense scoring on their opening possession, ending a 19-game streak where they were yet to be able to score a touchdown on the opening drive. Good play calling up top by their coordinator, North Turner.
Only the 2nd rushing touchdown the Browns have had all season.
A lot of firsts.
Yes.
In these early moments of this game.
Here is Cundiff, and 7-0 Cleveland, all set up on a beautiful punt return of 38 by Poyer, a 42-yard pass to Gordon, and then McGahee from a yard.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new Windows. One experience for everything in your life. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
What a way to start for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, they come out using their best playmakers, and obviously Josh Gordon has been that and a whole lot more for this Cleveland Brown offense. A star is born, I think, in Cleveland with Josh Gordon. He continues to make plays like that. He's going to be a great one in the future.
Here comes Jordan Todman out of UConn. Up the middle and down he goes. Hit on the play. Bonamosi was there among others. A 20-yard return up to the 20-yard line.
Kevin, as you watch Josh Gordon go deep here, watch the pressure in the face right here by, of course, the defensive lineman in the face of Brandon Wheat. And Brandon's going to move very well in the pocket. He's able to get this ball off even though he's under duress. Still able to deliver this ball off balance, but look, great ball placement, allowing Gordon to use that big frame to go over Dwayne Gratz to come down with it. And then he takes a hit. Now that's really earning the deep ball of 42 yards to Gordon.
Here comes Henny on 1st and 10. He's got his receiver Mike Brown playing with the bad shoulder. He was a game-time decision. You see him make the 7-yard gain right there to the 27-yard line.
And these playmakers have begun to come on for Jacksonville. You talk about Mike Brown, Ace Sanders, and the absence of Justin Blackmon, who's out for the year. But they've had some other guys who have emerged outside of Cecil Shorts. They're going to need to play well here today.
2nd down and 3. Maurice Jones-Drew Brought down with another tackle by DeQuell Jackson on a gain of 2. Up to the 29-yard line. They're trying to really watch how much Drew is in the game, the amount of touches. They want to make sure he stays fresh throughout the body of the season.
Yeah, you don't want to wear him down. And as good as he has been just 2 years ago, led the league in rushing with over 1,600 yards. But you want to be able to, I think, to minimize his carries and the wear and tear.
There goes Sanders on the move on a 3rd and 1. Ward will chase him, but he's out of bounds with a first down in his pocket to the 33 and picks up 4 on the play. Sanders is a 4th-round rookie out of South Carolina.
Creative play calling by the offense coordinator. Watch the end around, little flip right there. Speed to get outside of T.J. Ward, 43, and chase right there. But if you can get your speed on the perimeter, you can manufacture plays. And it's exactly what they do with Ace Sanders there.
Sanders with a carry and a first down. Sanders out of the backfield this time and on the move. Brought down by Buster Screen. Picks up a big chunk, though, to the 41-yard line and a gain of 8. And so they use him in a lot of different places. He plays wide in the slot. He returns, now playing in the backfield.
Yeah, and what you're seeing from Jacksonville to stay ahead of the chains, they're throwing the ball on first down. You've seen them run it on second, but they're creating second and short or third and short opportunities. Helps the offense to stay on schedule.
Todman in the backfield with a 2nd down and 2. Saffo'o with a block. And he gets a first down. He runs into the grass that time in the secondary of Tashawn Gibson. It's a pickup of 4. They'll move the chains again just beyond the 45.
Oh, this is a collision between Jordan Todman and Tashawn Gibson. He comes up and fills the lane, but that's just real good, tough running out of that I formation, something you know Gus Bradley wants. He wants a tough, physical football team. I've never met a more positive team that comes in 2-9 after 11 games.
Jones-Drew is in. It's a first down. He got a good block that time from Saffo'o once again. And then he is brought down in the secondary by Gibson. And a burst of 18 by Maurice Jones-Drew to the Cleveland 36.
Oh, we told you the run game has improved. Their zone blocking. You could see the fullback up in the hole, blocking on T.J. Ward, getting Maurice Jones-Drew to the second level. And this is what you've seen more. Runs of 10 yards or more has helped this offense to improve in recent weeks.
Todman back in, another first down. This began back at the 20 for Jacksonville. Redfield the block at the left tackle and going deep, and the receiver turned, and a flag is thrown. May have been on Ward. They were looking for Clay Harbor, who was right about the 20-yard line.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Number 43 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You can see they believe they have a matchup advantage with Clay Harbor matched up against the strong safety T.J. Ward, who's better as an in-box defender. And you're going to see him right here matched up one-on-one, and you'll see, will he make contact beyond 5 yards down the field? Right there on the double move. Yes, he does. So that is going to be pass interference on T.J. Ward. They believe he's a liability in coverage. He's got to prove he can stay with tight ends in space.
You like him in the middle of the field then?
Absolutely, and in the box as a defender.
Here's the 7th play of the drive on 1st and 10. The leading Todman brought down by rookie free agent Darius Eubanks. He swerves for 13. Another first down for Jacksonville to the 17 of Cleveland.
Kevin, we told you that if Gus Bradley's football team can run the football, whether it's Maurice Jones-Drew or with Todman, they stand an excellent chance of coming out of here with an upset. It's the beginning of them being able to be competitive on offense. They come in averaging a league low 18 points per game.
The tight ends here. Jones-Drew's carried it 3 times. Todman twice. Jones-Drew in here. Rackley the block in time to throw. And they've got Harbor for the touchdown. Beating Tashawn Gibson. 18-yard touchdown pass by Chad Henne.
Excellent timing on the play action pass. They draw the linebackers up. They run the defenders out of that area of the zone where they're able to bring Harbor across the field. And watch, he's going to come in motion, then he's going to come up and go out as they clear out up top. And watch the play fake, and the linebackers have to respect the run. And then that creates the out route by Harbor, who beats Gibson to the corner of the end zone. Well-timed route, well-designed, and well-executed.
Harbor played 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was claimed off waivers. on September 1st. We're tied at 7 as Scobie puts it through. He just caught one from 18 yards away. Harbor his second touchdown reception of the season. And the Jaguars and Browns tied at 7. Well-orchestrated drive by quarterback Chad Henne. The Jacksonville Jaguars winning last week in Houston. Got to go back to December of 2010 to see back-to-back wins. That was against Oakland. Jones drew for 101 on the ground and a touchdown. They won it 38-31 over the Raiders, the last time Jacksonville won 2 consecutive games.
Now, that is something else. And Gus Bradley, he's one of the few coaches who doesn't use fear to motivate his players. He believes they perform better if you can relieve them of anxiety and stress. It's a unique way of coaching, but this team has responded in recent weeks.
Scobie with the boot, and Fozzie Whitaker will let it kick over the pylon, and it's a touchback into the end zone. Waiting to see if it was going to go out of bounds. So Josh Gordon, who set a Browns franchise record with his performance last week, back out there for Cleveland, tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry, with 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Tower City Center all dressed up for the holidays. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends. Here's a 1st and 10 for Whedon. Outside for Gordon. Working on the rookie Gratz. And he spins his way. Walking the tightrope. Picks up a 1st down. Pickup of 23 yards on the play to the 43.
Well, Gordon has already beaten Gratz on a 42-yard deep ball. Now you can have the runoff and then the stop. Come back and look. He's able to get plenty of cushion, catch it underneath, and that's how you work one of your talented wide receivers if you're Brandon Wheaton to get the pass game going.
Gordon already 2 catches and 65 yards, and like we mentioned earlier, over 1,000 for the season. Fozzie Whitaker. He got by the reach of Evans, run out of bounds by Lesney and company, and he takes it up to the 47 and picks up 4 on the play. Whitaker out of Texas. This line has been basically intact as it looks there all season long. Laval missed a couple early games, but aside from that, they've been there ready to go. Gordon has already put his fingerprints on this game. McGahee was signed after they traded for Trent Richardson, or traded Trent Richardson to the Indianapolis Colts. McGahee was a guy that was familiar with Rob Chudzinski down at the University of Miami as a player is down, and that's the aforementioned Josh Evans, the 6th-round pick out of Florida. And a rookie. And by the way, if you didn't see it, and Cleveland fans are really interested in this, Richardson has been benched already with the Colts. And because of ineffective play, Donald Brown will now start, and Richardson will come off the bench.
And how about this? When they made that trade, people here in Cleveland was questioning what Rob Chudzinski and the brass here in Cleveland were doing. You might say they were ahead of the curve, Kevin. They're going to get a 1st-round pick as a result of trading Trent Richardson. You have to wonder if he would have even affected the way the season has gone for Cleveland. I think they were ahead of the curve in making that decision.
Yep, and they get a number 1 next year. 2nd down and 6. Evans walking off under his own power. Obanaya and Tyson Alualu jumps on his back and down at about the 46 and loses a yard on the play. Here's the defensive line, and the run defense, as we talked about before, has been terrific. These guys, one of the big reasons why. Lesney is in the middle of the linebacking corps. Done a terrific job again. Led him in tackles last year. Leads him again this season. In the secondary, they start 3 rookies. Ball is the only veteran. 6 years in the NFL. He's played for Houston and Dallas. 3rd down and 7. As Obanaya, the running back, goes to the top of your screen. Whedon again deep, and looking for Gordon, and Gratz is there and knocks it away, and the real estate was dissipating as well. It's incomplete, and the Browns will give it up. 3 plays, and now they go 4th and 7.
You know, Gratz is one of 3 rookies starting in this secondary for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Plays this one much better than he did on that first possession when he gave up the 42-yarder to Josh Gordon.
So Gratz right there, perhaps making a bit of an adjustment. The rookie out of UConn, 1st team All-Big East a season ago. And Spencer Lanning will punt this one. And Sanders clearing out the deck and makes the grab. Fair caught, 22-yard line on a 31-yard punt. Here comes Chad Henne, fresh off an 18-yard touchdown pass the last time out there, as a flag has been thrown on the play. And it was somewhat late when it was tossed.
Illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage for the kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down, Jacksonville. Timeout.
And so the timeout. Henne will get back out there for the Jaguars.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Fantasy football fans get a fresh start with Player Challenge, a 4-week game that now includes even bigger cash prizes. See rules and sign up at cbssports.com/challenge. Fake handoff on 1st and 10 to Jones-Drew. Kruger is chasing Henne, and he hits the deck with Rubin bearing down on him. So he picks up hardly anything at all, maybe a half yard on the play. The last drive, a good one for the Jaguars. A lot of big plays in there. Maurice Jones-Drew running for 18. Then Jordan Todman came in and raced his way for 17, all culminating with an 18-yard touchdown pass to the tight end, Clay Harbor.
Yeah, and Henne, 6 of 7, 5 different receivers so far in the ball game. This is a much improved team since the bye week.
One of the reasons why is Henne. And not turning the ball over. 2nd down and 11. Ward grabs Jones-Drew with a good-looking run. Picks up 14 up to the 40. A first down for Jacksonville.
Oh, and the run game has improved in recent week. They went into that bye week 0-8. And the emphasis was to improve the run game, simplify the defense, and they've improved in both areas.
Plus, you got a guy who's run for over 1,000 3 times in his career. First down and 10. Jones-Drew again, slipping by Rubin. Brought down on the play by Phil Taylor. He picks up 4, and he's up to the 45. And here's some look at the numbers from last week in Jones-Drew in Houston.
Yeah, the MJD of old, right? The improvements he's had running in this zone scheme. You saw season highs in every single category. We mentioned the 10 runs, or I should say 3 runs of 10 yards or more. That's something that really Gus Bradley has talked about. The explosive runs is what's helped the offense the most.
Todman in, 2nd down 6. Ace Sanders, chased by Screen, picks up the first down. A catch and run to the 49 and a gain of 7 on the play.
Cute little play. Ace Sanders was motioning in the backfield, and it looked like Buster Screen was in man-to-man cover. See Buster Screen running with him, but watch as he goes right back out from whence he came, and then Screen 22, he's over late in his man-to-man cover.
Sticking in the nickel. Sanders outside on 1st and 10. And the nickel back, the extra back, Chris Owens makes the stop. A flag has been thrown. The gain now to about the 40. As he'll pick up 11 yards as it stands, as Levy and his crew will discuss things here. You've kind of hinted at it. The wonderful job done since the bye week by Coach Gus Bradley in his first year.
Well, they wanted to simplify some things. They felt that the inventory was too large.
There were fouls by both teams. Illegal substitution, number 18 of the offensive team, did not get back inside the numbers after leaving the field. 12 men on the field defense. Those penalties offset. First down.
So sometimes when you lessen what you've got more to work with.
Yeah, and look, look, Gibbs is trying to get off the field. And then Sanders came on late.
So going back to what you were talking about, just keeping it positive around that facility, which was tough with an 0-8 start.
What did Maurice Jones-Drew tell us? He was like, most coaches wouldn't give you the entire week off during the bye week when you've lost 8 straight games.
Todman back there. It is a first down and 10. Nice block once again by that fullback, and boy, that's a lost position in the league. He's down to the 42-yard line. It's a pickup of 7. Will Tafo'o, who has been leading the way in a lot of these runs for Jacksonville this afternoon.
Tafo'o not only blocked this guy, he took him deep into the Jacksonville bench area. Watch, follow number 45. Look, this is great blocking. Think of this block. Just ride him right out of the play, right off the field, and this is blocking long after the play should be over. That's what coaches want from every one of their football players.
Shot by Charles Hill there in the end zone. 2nd down 3. Look at the time for Henne. And finally just throws it away. In the vicinity of Maurice Jones-Drew, the coverage by Sheard on the wing.
Well, you get the sense Henne kind of threw that one away early. He had that much time because he was standing in the backfield. Sometimes quarterback, they don't want to ever get caught holding on to the football too long. Even when there is extra time, they feel the need to get rid of it quickly.
Henne making his 6th consecutive start today.
Oh, he's allowed the offense to improve as well. And he told us he's a firm believer in Gus Bradley's positive approach to coaching. He said this guy has allowed us to remain fresh even after losing 8 straight games. Guys love coming to work every day.
Jaguars were effective on 3rd down last week. Here's 3rd down and 3. Good time for Henne. Here comes the pressure, and down he goes. Brought down by Jabal Sheard. The Browns defense with their first sack in the last 9 quarters. Going back to November 2nd in a game against the Baltimore Ravens, a loss of a yard there.
On 2nd down, Henne had all day. On 3rd down, not as much time, but look at the coverage on the back end, Kevin. Go ahead and roll it, and you're going to see every last one of the 5 eligibles. Look, cover. There's no one who's open on this play, and so the pocket collapses. That's just good coverage on the back end. 2 consecutive plays by the Cleveland Browns defense.
Anger to punt. And they got Devon Best back there with good hang time. Fair caught, 7-yard line. Hang time of about 4, 36-yarder. And so the Browns will take it over. 7 plays punt on the 3rd possession for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, Friday on CBS, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, and Robin Thicke perform live when LL Cool J hosts the Grammy nominations concert. Friday at 10, 9 Central, only on CBS. LL Cool J. Ladies love Cool J.
Do they really?
Well, that's
what they say.
That's what the name says. That's what the name says.
I've been told the ladies love Kevin Harlan, especially one.
I got one, and then her 3 little elves.
There you go.
I got 4 at home. Here we go with a handoff to McGahee on 1st and 10. Showing some nice moves right there and brought down by Evans, who's back in after leaving early. A gain of 8 right there by Willis McGahee. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards 4 times in his career.
Oh, he can give this offense great balance. He can help Brandon Wheaton get his first win of the season. This is the 5th start for the quarterback, Brandon Wheaton. And a lot on the line for him, Kevin. It's not sure as to whether or not he'll return with his football team. You might see these final games of his auditioning maybe for another football team.
With a 2nd and 2. McGahee again wrapped up on the play by Branch, a gain of a yard. It's interesting you bring this up because we had 2 different columnists in the local papers here talk about the booing that Wheaton has received and say, you know, it does no good to do that. This kid's now fighting for his career. It looks like they're going to probably go another direction in the offseason. So he told us on Wednesday that, you know, I'm going to let it loose today. I'm going to play loose and free, and we'll see what happens.
He said he wants to play smart, but he understands it's Thanksgiving. He has a positive family around him. He says he feels good about it. He wants to play loose, and he does want to cut it loose. We've already seen him on a 42-yard strike to Gordon.
You're right. 3rd and 1. Good run by McGahee, showing young legs and brought down on the play by Geno Hayes. It's a gain of 6, so he had a gain of 8 earlier and a gain of 6 right there. They'll move the chains. He's up to the 23.
Good blocking. Look at it. They block down, kick out right there with the tight end, and they bring, of course, the guard over to get a kick out block, Greco. And just good, selective, hard-nosed running by Willis McGahee. Rob Jasinski, you know, he's got this football team competing each and every week, particularly after those last 2 losses within the AFC North division.
With 3 tight ends, it's 1st and 10. Wheaton. And he finds his running back, McGahee, right there, hit by Russell Allen on a gain of 6 and up to the 28-yard line. So McGahee getting a lot of work right here. It's taken him a while. I think we've kind of gotten the feeling in talking with the Browns to get him in shape. Like we said, he was sitting on his couch back in Miami 3 weeks into the year.
Yeah, he missed all of training camp, was not in training camp with any NFL team, had been released this offseason by Denver, and is now beginning to gain some traction.
Touchdown pass by Henne. Touchdown run by McGahee. Tied at 7 at the end of 1. Win today by the Cleveland Browns, a game they'll be in back of Baltimore after they beat Pittsburgh Thanksgiving. And the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to win their 2nd consecutive game. 2nd down and 5. That one whistled over the head of Gordon. There's some pretty good coverage in the secondary. Looked like Winston Guy was back there covering. Now it'll be 3rd down and 5. Jacksonville trying to win A second consecutive game after their 13-6 win last week against Houston.
They are a team that plays hard. There's no doubt about it. And it's all about the effort, the energy, and enthusiasm that you've seen from this football team. They know they're short on talent, so they have to bring those other ingredients to the table in order to have just a chance to win a football game.
Guy is in because Josh Evans was in, then left. Shoulder injury, we're told, may return. 3rd down and 5 for Brandon Weeden. And right on the money and caught by Gordon. Hit by Posluszny. Grabbed on the play by Cyprian. A 21-yard pickup for Gordon, who's nearing now 100 yards there in the first half. That's a first down to the 47.
What did Paul Posluszny tell us? That these are long developing routes. Quarterback has to hold the football long in Norv Turner's offense. And look, it's a vertical threat and then just a curl in. High throw from Weeden, but nonetheless good enough for a completion to Gordon. They had to wait a while for that play to develop. 16 receptions at 20 yards or more, 3rd best in the NFL for Gordon.
Yeah, the first down. From the 48, Ogbonnaya is in and offers a block for Weeden. He strings it out. He looks for Gordon. The catch is made in front of Grotz. It's a pickup of 4. He now has 95 yards receiving. He's down to the 47-yard line of Jacksonville. This is one of the top receivers, folks, in the NFL. Look where he is in yards receiving per game. He is number 5 in total yards coming in, number 2 in yards per game, 110, number 5 in terms of what he's done in receptions per catch. The guy is all over the map in terms of high rankings in all the important categories.
A distinguished list. To be second on that list, that's pretty good. He's open, Kevin.
2nd and 6, and they go for Cameron downfield. Both of them were open, and Jordan Cameron, the tight end, makes the grab. Cyprian and Guy there with the stop. A 26-yard throw and a first down to the Jacksonville 21.
Well, Jordan Cameron, he's open right away. Look, he's going to run out and up. This one takes a while to develop, but he is open from the word go because Gratz drops covers. Look, the safety's out of position. Easy throw from Brandon Weeden right now, who's picking apart this very young secondary for Jacksonville. Nice play design by Norv Turner, who's getting Gordon and Cameron open repeatedly.
And Weeden is 6 of 8 and looking good, 121 yards so far. Ogbonnaya was in the backfield, and there goes the flag, stopping that first down snap.
False start, number 84 offense, 5-yard penalty, first out.
That was Cameron. He just had the 26-yard reception. Sally, he's number 2 in tight end receptions, the back of Graham at New Orleans. Number 3 in tight end receiving yards in the NFL.
And he's the best in the fourth quarter. 27 receptions in the fourth quarter, most in the NFL. He really shows up at money time.
Here's a 1st and 15. Weeden into traffic, dropped by Little. Incomplete at the 19-yard line. Drops were a problem for Little earlier in the season. He was demoted. He's a high-ranking draft pick out of North Carolina who's led this team in receptions the last 2 years.
Yeah, wants a 2nd-round pick. But look, he's in traffic here. He fights to get back to the ball. This one's going to be intercepted. So it would have been a very tough and difficult catch in traffic.
Correct. You're right.
By Greg Little. Give him credit for fighting and contesting for the football. Nonetheless, not able to come away with it.
Grotz doing a nice job tearing it free. Here's a 2nd and 15 run. It's by Fozzie Whitaker, who is brought down by Branch. He picks up 5 right there to the 21-yard line of Jacksonville.
And now the Jacksonville defense got to find a way to get a stop. They've not been able to cover Josh Gordon. They've now allowed Jordan Cameron to get behind them. And they've got to really kind of pick their poison. We talked to Posluszny. One of the things they wanted to do during the bye week, simplify the defense. They felt they were doing too much. The inventory of plays had been too much for this defense. And now they have begun to settle in.
3rd down and 10. Almost looked like Weeden wasn't expecting that pass, but it goes for Gordon, who's got the ball, and a Cleveland Brown touchdown. He was working on Will Blackman, a 21-yard strike.
Josh Gordon already over 100 yards receiving in this game, Kevin. 2nd, look at this. He's just going to do the out and up. He gets vertical on Blackman right away. And watch as he relaxes as the ball comes in. He doesn't clue in Blackman that the ball's coming. He relaxes, then reaches up for it at the final moment, contests for the ball, keep both feet in bounds. This guy's a phenomenal playmaker.
So on that drive, which began back at the 8-yard line, you may recall at Cleveland, they got runs of 8 and 6 yards by McGahee, Gordon caught one for 21. Cameron, the tight end, caught one for 26. They find Gordon in the corner on a 21-yard touchdown pass as the play is being reviewed. And Whedon is 7 of 10, starting with 142 through the air.
Now remember, he has to have firm and complete possession with 2 feet in. There's bobble, there's a bobble, 1 foot in, another foot in. I think they're going to give it to him. That's tight footwork, nifty by the wide receiver, Josh Gordon.
Under review.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
I have to say I agree with Mr. Levy on that call because watch, clear visual evidence. There was a bobble initially. So he's still fighting for it now, but look, 1 and then 2 with clear possession of the football. He even kept that heel off the chalk. I told you it was nifty footwork by Josh Gordon. It was better than I thought.
And that was on 3rd down. In the previous 3rd down, they completed one, 3rd and 5 to Cameron, 3rd and 10 for 21 to Gordon. With the extra point by Cundiff, 14-0, the Cleveland Browns. Gordon picking up where he left off. 5 catches, 111 yards. And this 21-yard touchdown reception.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the redesigned Honda Odyssey. Honda, start something special. Best Buy, get the right gifts at the right price, all at your ultimate holiday showroom. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
This Josh Gordon has been getting nice throws today from Brandon Whedon. 7 of 10, 142 through the air. The touchdown pass moments ago, and he was a first-round pick a year ago. Much maligned. This kid is right on the brink of some off-field issues. We'll get more into that a little bit. And Jacksonville fans know a lot about that with Justin Blackmon down there. But
how about this?
Huh?
Yeah, well, they both were drafted last year.
Yeah.
Remember, and Blackmon went in the 1st round while Josh Gordon went in the supplemental round as a 2nd-round pick.
Here comes Todman. He'll bring it out for the Jaguars. Finds a bit of a crease and vaults his way to the 23-yard line. And brought down by Poyer, 28-yard return. Coming up from New York, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher have the latest NFL news, scores, and highlights, as well as a special preview of the game of the day, Denver, Kansas City. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. He was suspended the first 2 games of the season. A lot of people know about his off-field issues. 1 more strike and he's in trouble. He's had to deal with that. Trade rumors in the middle of the season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But boy, has he responded since things have settled in and those trade rumors have subsided.
From the 23, and he going deep and looking for Shorts, and it's picked up by Hayden, who goes the other way. One of the top cornerbacks in the NFL, brought down by the lineman Rackley. It's a 14-yard return. No turnovers last week by the Jacksonville Jaguars in Houston. 1 here in the first half. Hayden comes up with a pick.
Kevin, Cecil Shorts is a Cleveland native, but Joe Hayden says, not in my house. No, you don't. Perfect bump and run trail technique coverage as he picks off the ball. Slightly underthrown by Chad Henne, but Hayden, who gave up a deep ball last week to Antonio Brown, certainly gets back in it. And yeah, the earth is covered 75% by water. The other 25%, Joe Hayden's got that covered.
Hayden now has interceptions in 3 of the last 4 games and 4 for the season. There's a 1st and 10, Whitaker. Cutting outside. Good tackle made right there by rookie Jonathan Cyprien. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
How about this defense creating some turnovers? Joe Hayden had been phenomenal in the Cincinnati game. Had 2 interceptions, returned 1 for a touchdown. 4 interceptions in the last 4 games. I think he's putting his stamp on a trip to Hawaii, and I think he should get some mention as an all-pro corner this year. He, along with Richard Sherman, I don't think any corners have played better against top receivers in the NFL.
2nd down and 10. Just saw that 4 in 4 games. He had no interceptions last week. 2 against the Bengals a couple weeks ago. That's knocked away by Marks and loose on the field and picked up by Cleveland. The Browns get the ball.
And it looked like Whedon fell on it himself. You know, it's been the talk all week long about how turnovers have undermined their ability to win ball games. And take a look, pressure coming there. Look, knocked out by Marks. And look, Whedon hustles to get back onto the football. You can see Marks coming right in his face right there, swatting at the ball, creating the fumble, and Whedon just really works hard to recover the ball.
Send Derek Marks with his third sack, third down 18. They need the 37. Whedon through the hands of Bess, who has been battling drops, coverage by Mike Harris. So they got a punt. We're in the second quarter here. Let's take you to New York and James Brown.
Hey, Shannon, this is a 100-meter dash by a Harvard guy, right?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1-yard TD plunge. Puts the Titans in front of the Colts, 7-6.
I'm sure Kevin and Solomon would agree with me on that.
Oh, yeah, we were looking at that game very closely. Very closely. Here's the punt. And Sanders lets it ricochet into the end zone. The touchback to the 20-yard line. A 55-yard punt by Spencer Lanning out of South Carolina in a timeout. Browns can't take advantage of very good position. After the interception by Hayden, 3 and out, and Jacksonville's got it. With the touchback to the 21st and 10, here comes Maurice Jones-Drew. Following a block, there's DeQuell Jackson once again on the stop. It's a pickup of 3. He's out to the 23-yard line, and tomorrow on CBS, People's Choice Award nominee Melissa McCarthy and Billy Gardell star in a new episode of the hit comedy Mike and Molly. That's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only on CBS. Second down, 7. Jones-Drew. He was devoured by Taylor. Thrown for a loss of 3. Jones-Drew said early on it was hard to get the blocking scheme set. They want a zone block, but they're a power block team, so that's been kind of an interesting issue throughout the year.
Yeah, they changed their blocking scheme coming into the season. They're converting to that zone running scheme, and they came into today's game ranked dead last in rushing yards per game and the league low 2.9 yards per average. But already 65 yards rushing today against a pretty good Cleveland Browns run defense.
Todman is in, 3rd and 10. 6 in the secondary. Henning on the money is Sanders, grabbed by Chris Owens. He's up to the 31. Enough for a first. Picks up 11 on 3rd and 10 and a first down for Jacksonville.
Yeah, and Sanders is one of those guys now their leading receiver in the game. He's been the go-to guy for Henning, helping them to convert third downs into a new set. And I think if you're Cleveland, you got to adjust to him a little bit.
Little pistol formation right here, and that one is drops by Cleveland native Cecil Shorts III. We just Solly just talked about him being from the area. Went to Collinwood High School in Cleveland, Ohio.
This guy's had a phenomenal year, by far their leading receiver. But he's got to be able to make those grabs. You know, he had some home cooking coming home. And Gus Bradley really challenged his team to be able to deal with the distractions. A player like Shorts coming back to Cleveland, dealing with the short week here during Thanksgiving, to be able to come on the road and perform well.
It's second down and 10. So nice, they'll try it twice, and outside they go for Shorts, who's pushed out of bounds by Barkevius Mingo. He is a heavy target of this offense. They throw to him the 8th most of any receiver in the NFL.
Take a look at it. Came in today as their leading receiver, not just in receptions with 58 on the year, but also in receiving yards. Have to find a way to get more touchdowns, but remember, without Justin Blackmon, who's been suspended indefinitely, Cecil Shorts has been the go-to guy. But you know, it's interesting, they went back to him after he dropped the first one. They go right back to him because he wants to prove that he can be the go-to guy on a consistent basis within the offense.
Playing with a bit of a groin injury today.
Timeout Jacksonville.
Coming off a terrific 8 receptions, 71-yard game last week in Houston. A big part of why the team is in offense. So 3rd and 2 coming up as you take a look at Shorts. You mentioned the 32 offense, and this is for Cleveland the number 4 defense in the entire NFL. That has been a pretty consistent theme for first-year head coach Rob Judzinski.
I believe Cleveland put together a great coaching staff with offense coordinator Norv Turner. On the defensive side, you mentioned how good they are on that side of the ball with their coordinator Ray Horton. They lead the league defensively in allowing only 4.4 yards per play, and that's really, I think, very good for this defense. On the back end, guys like Joe Hayden, Phil Taylor on the front end, I think they're building something really special on defense here in Cleveland.
Haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, haven't allowed a 300-yard passer this season. 3rd and 2. Chad Henne has got a touchdown pass already today. And he finds Sanders, who is grabbed by Ward and has the first down on a pickup of 3. Knew exactly where he had to be, and the option probably maybe the 3rd on the read to the 42-yard line and a first down.
Look at Henne. He's doing just a really good job hanging in the pocket. He wants to pull the trigger quickly, and watch him just move slightly to create a passing lane to get the ball over to Sanders to convert yet another 3rd down.
You heard the yellow pistol, and that's what they got. Maurice Jones-Drew, 6 defensive backs. Sheard is there along with Owens, and a gain of a yard up near the 43-yard line.
This offense, and you know, Gus Bradley, what does he do? He says he creates competition for this football team. They've had 208 transactions since last January, since he was hired by their general manager, David Caldwell. But that's what they want to do. They want to create competition. They're going to continue to tweak the roster, allow guys to compete for opportunities.
Todman on 2nd down and 9 into the secondary. He made Hayden whiff, and he was brought down by both Gibson and Ward on that 2nd and 9. Runs for 10 to the 47-yard line at Cleveland and a first down again.
Here's that zone blocking scheme. Ball Shear jumps inside, but look, they're able to get outside with Todman. Makes the first defender miss, getting to the 2nd level of the defense. Yes, he's given MJD rest, but they're also competing for opportunities to carry the football.
1st and 10. Here comes Wynn, who jumps on Todman, drives him back 3 yards near midfield. Billy Wynn out of Boise State, a 6th-round pick last year.
With that zone blocking scheme, sometimes you're going to get leakage. You're going to get some penetration by a guy like Wynn. As you take a look at the numbers, comparatively speaking, for both quarterbacks, that's going to happen. Wynn was able to get some penetration, but they're starting to work out the kinks with their ability to run the football. You got to like what you're seeing from Jacksonville today.
In the 6th defensive back, 2nd down and 13. Good block by Todman. Out of the reach of Sanders, the coverage by Hayden.
Well, if you can't block these defensive backs who are blitzing your quarterback here against this Cleveland Brown defense, you're going to struggle. Their secondary has 5 sacks. They lead the league with the most sacks, or I should say 3rd of any secondary in the NFL. Buster Screen was the blitzer on that one. Todman picked him up, but Henne could not find an open receiver.
Cleveland has scored on a 1-yard touchdown run by McGahee, and a 21-yard touchdown pass to Gordon, who's over 100 yards receiving. Denard Robinson on the move. 3rd and 13. They'll need the 37, and a timeout taken by Michigan Wolverine Chad Henne.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bose, the official home audio sponsor of the NFL. And by Kelley Blue Book. Everything you need to make a smart new car decision is at KBB.com.
The Dog Pound, one of the great venues in the entire NFL. This fan base with Cleveland is just waiting to erupt for a good team here. 3rd and 13 after the Jacksonville timeout. They need the 37. Henne bobbled and was not reeled in by Todman. Yeah, Desmond Bryant right in the vicinity. It's an incomplete pass. It's 4th down. They got a punt.
Yeah, but the way they had it blocked looked like he would have been able to slip back underneath the blockers out in front of him and may have had a sizable gain. But got to be able to haul it in initially with the first opportunity.
11 plays and a punt coming up from Brian Anger, who set records last year for rookies and gross in net punting. He was a 3rd-round pick out of Cal, and he has proven to be a very wise choice. Bess is back, waving his arms, and fair caught about the 14. Hang time of 4.47, 35-yard punt. So Brandon Weeden with a quick start here, a touchdown pass. He's 7 of 11 for the Browns. And coming up next, game 2 of our NFL on CBS doubleheader. most of you, and that's about 99% of you, are going to see the Broncos and Chiefs. And because the game is blacked out in California and San Diego, Cincinnati, you're going to have your own broadcast today between the Chargers and the Bengals. Here's a 1st and 10 with an Obadiah handoff and a pickup of 3. And a tackle made by the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Roy Miller, up near the 18-yard line.
And they're going to go with no huddle, going to increase the tempo, see if they can get something going on their 5th possession after having to punt in 2 of the last 4.
Leading with a 2nd down and 7. This is Obadiah. Puslesny along with Harris there for the stop. Gain of 9. He's up to the 27-yard line, and that is a Cleveland Brown 1st down.
I got to tell you, though, Brandon Wheaton's looked really good. He's been able to spend this week of practice with the number 1s, and so far it's paying off.
Hurry up right now for Wheaton with the 1st and 10. Locked away beautifully by Puslesny, who had an interception against the Denver Broncos. You may recall a couple weeks ago returning it 59 yards for a touchdown.
Good footwork. Look, he just mirrors the footwork of Jordan Cameron in coverage. Locked up. Was able to bat that ball away.
Puslesny returned last week against the Texans after missing the Arizona game with a concussion. 2nd down and 10. Look out, here comes Marks, and he flips it away, and it's incomplete. And Obadiah was there. The coverage by Hayes. Incomplete ball earlier in the season. There was great penetration by Derek Marks, former Tennessee Titan. Remember earlier in the season, Wheaton had done something like that and threw it away, and it was picked off. It was on the near sideline, and he was heavily criticized for that.
Yeah, regrettable ad lib, but right here, nifty footwork just to avoid the sack. And, you know, he tripped him up, and that's when he tried to flip it away. And, yeah, it cost him in a game against Detroit. It did the next week against Green Bay, and that pass was nearly intercepted.
3rd down and 10. DeAndre Levy had that pick for the Lions. And that's caught by Cameron, who drops the ball. Was it alive? It may have been. Yep, up to the 32. He picks up 6 yards, shy of the 1st down, so it doesn't matter. Cameron, who caught one earlier, which was important on a drive. He caught one at 26 a couple drives ago. Doesn't get enough right there. It is a punt situation for the Browns.
And now Rob Jasinski's offense, it sort of struggles a little bit on their last couple of possessions. They would have hoped to have gotten some points there, at least kept the defense off the field to finish off the 2nd half. Or first half, excuse me.
Lanning to punt, 5 plays punt. Here's Sanders on a knee at the 32, makes the grab, and so it'll be Henne and the Jacksonville offense back out there after a 40-yard punt by Cleveland. This week, don't miss the show that's in a league all by itself with guys who take on all 32 teams and each other every week. Your host is James Brown with Phil Simms and Chris Collinsworth in the wings and the artistry of NFL films. Inside the NFL, the show the pros watch. Wednesday at 9 only on Showtime. So we've had an 18-yard touchdown pass to Clay Harbor from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which tied the game at 7. He's had a 1-yard touchdown run for the Browns, a 21-yard touchdown pass to Gordon. That's batted down, and maybe Mingo got a hand on it. He did. Here is the highly talked about number 6 overall pick, a first-round choice out of LSU, a rookie.
Much has been talked about Mingo 51. You see him right there. Watch him get the hand up. It's just he continues to work, and we talked about it because so much has been written about him not having come away with many sacks after he had 3 in his first 3 games. Production kind of tailed off, but he's continuing to work and get better at other elements.
2nd down, 10, Jones-Drew. Mingo right there, who's making the conversion, Solomon, from defensive end to stand-up linebacker in the NFL.
That's right, and we talk about him getting better at other elements. There you saw him there, widening, staying outside, and playing the run much better, where I think he struggled in the early part of the season. He's shown vast improvement over the last few weeks. He was able to contain that run play and then knife in underneath to get the tackle on Maurice Jones-Drew. Rookie out of LSU, first-round pick for these Cleveland Browns.
Began the season with a bruised lung, didn't play. Hurt himself in the middle of the preseason. 3rd down and 8. Henne, Jones-Drew, great play by T.J. Ward, the second leading tackler There's no gain on the play. They're going to force the punt. Ward is the one who had the strong comments about the offense over the last couple of weeks. Both losses by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and his head coach, Rob Chizinski, said he didn't take those as negative comments or criticisms about the offense, that Ward was simply echoing what the coach talks about. Hey, you can't turn the football over if you're going to win football games. And the way it was written up, at least the team and the players and coaching staff felt that it portrayed Ward inaccurately. But Chizinski did talk to the players about remaining unified. Look, he said turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. That's it. It goes quick. That's why we're losing. You can't win ball games when you're turning over the football. 8 turnovers in the last 2 games and critical divisional losses against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Ward is out of Oregon, second-round pick 4 years ago, the strong safety, and like we said,
who's his cousin?
He's a playmaker. I think he's wearing a Jacksonville uniform today.
Maurice Jones-Drew, the guy he just tackled. Their cousins attended the same high school at De La Salle, and Maurice Jones-Drew talked about the fact they grew up just 2 blocks away from one another in Northern California.
Another punt by Anger. Poyer is back. Poyer had a 38-yard return earlier in the game, and this is returnable with a hang time of only 3.8, and here he goes. He got a block on the play from Hayden, and then he was covered very well. Tafo'o was there to make the stop along with Nate Stuper.
Kevin, the setback at quarterback can really put a team's playoff hopes in peril. How about the Packers? They've gone winless in 4 games since Aaron Rodgers failed to injury. And the struggles of Matt Schaub brought the Houston Texans Super Bowl dreams crashing down. Without a healthy Jay Cutler, the Bears are on the verge of falling out of playoff contention. And Chip Kelly's high-flying offense has at times leveled off, shuffling between quarterbacks Michael Vick and Nick Foles. And between Jacksonville and Cleveland, they've had a combined total of 5 different quarterbacks start games this season.
Ozzie Whitaker in the backfield, 1st and 10 for Reed. And it's picked off on the play. Grabbed by the rookie Jonathan Cyprien, who gets a block ahead from Ball. And then the entourage bringing him down. Cyprien with the interception, the first of his pro career. He was the 8th defensive back chosen in the draft. He's out of Florida International and comes up with a big play.
And here's Jordan Cameron. He's going right down the middle. Is he throwing him into harm's way? Absolutely, but that's what the play calls for. Cameron doesn't go for the ball. He doesn't contest. Look, he allows the defender to get positioned on the ball. Jonathan Cyprien, and comes away with the interception. Quarterback has to trust the intended receiver. Cameron did not really attempt to contest for that football, allowed Cyprien to step in front and come away with an interception.
Cyprien has not missed a snap on defense the entire season. Returns at 27. And from the 17, Jones-Drew, 1st and 10. Grabbed on the play by Eubanks. Hit on the play by Jackson. And he plows his way for 6 down to the 11-yard line of the Cleveland Browns.
Can I quote T.J. Ward?
Turnovers,
Turnovers, turnovers. Is that what he talked about over the last couple of weeks? And now it rears its ugly head. And the coach can talk about the unity, but teams have to play together. Offense has to help the defense as well and not put them in these sudden change situations, something the Cleveland Browns defense has seen all too much of over the last couple of weeks, with 8 turnovers in their last 2 ball games.
Wheaton throws his 8th interception. Cyprien returns his 1st interception deep in Cleveland territory. We're at the 2-minute warning, 2nd down and 4 after the Cyprien interception. Jones-Drew, Tafo'o trying to give a block and brought down by Darius Eubanks, who makes the grab, taking the place of the injured Craig Robertson and Tank Carter. So he's the 3rd guy they have had in that place in 3 weeks as you take a look at the success in the red zone since the bye.
Yeah, since the bye week. And they've made the adjustments, simplified some things. They've gotten better rhythm in the run game, is the reason why those red zone numbers have improved. 4 touchdowns and their 6 possessions inside the red zone over the last 3 weeks since the bye, as you stated, Kevin.
Jones-Drew in the backfield, 3rd and 1. He throws for a touchdown to Mercedes Lewis. It's an 8-yard touchdown pass by Maurice Jones-Drew. He's doing it all. And they're within an extra point of tying the game as they were going to Cameron, Cleveland was, and the ball was picked off by Cyprien.
And watch the defense. The respect for their ability to run inside the red zone is what allows Mercedes Lewis to get open at the 2nd level. And Jones-Drew, watch him go flat. He doesn't really attack the line of scrimmage, just slightly, but make sure he gets rid of the football to complete the pass for a touchdown. How about that? Not Henne throwing it for a touchdown, but Jones-Drew.
How about Maurice Jones-Drew? He has scored a lot of touchdowns on the ground. He's returned 2 for touchdowns. He's caught 11 for touchdowns. Now he's thrown a touchdown pass with the extra point good. That is his second pass attempted in his career. The last time that Jones-Drew threw a pass against the Cleveland Browns back in November of 2010. He does it all for Jacksonville. The pick by the rookie Cyprien, intended for the tight end. Returns it deep, and then the running back, Maurice Jones-Drew, to the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB and Company with all the news, scores, and highlights of a busy day, plus a special preview from Arrowhead in Kansas City, the Broncos and the Chiefs. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms will have that for you coming up next in the Verizon Halftime Report. Out of the end zone, touchback to the 20. You know, Maurice Jones-Drew, for being one of the smallest guys in the league, has done a lot for this franchise and scoring many different ways.
Well, in 8 seasons out of UCLA, there's no doubt about it. I talked about his career passing numbers, his first touchdown pass. He's a 5'7" guy that threw it to the 6'6" guy in Mercedes Lewis. So real good combination, both out of UCLA, former first and second round pick. But he's been the consummate pro, and he talked about it. They've gone through their ups and downs, he and the organization, but right now they're in a really sweet spot, and you see them still making plays.
First down and 10. 5 in the secondary for the Jaguars. That's intercepted again, this time by another rookie, Dwayne Gratz. The second interception for him. He had 1 week 10 against Tennessee. He picks off Whedon. 2 consecutive interceptions thrown, and great beginning field position for the Jacksonville Jaguars again. And that'll cost the fans to throw their hands to the heavens asking why.
Yeah, Whedon's finding out who he can and can't trust. Try to get this one over to Greg Little. And I don't think it should have been thrown because there was an underneath defender in the linebacker, Hayes, and then the defensive back is able to break on it, Gratz, because it was thrown late outside the numbers. It's just a bad decision here by Brandon Whedon. I thought the first interception was on Jordan Cameron, who didn't contest for the ball, but that one clearly on Whedon.
So Gratz picks it up, and back to pass goes Henne, and he throws it in the dirt, and pretty good decision there. They were going for Jones-Drew, the coverage by McFadden. Dwayne Gratz, who is a all Big East selection. He missed 5 games earlier with and there you can see they want a new quarterback here.
Yeah. Oh, that's been the talk all offseason, no doubt about it. Kevin, they want a new quarterback in Cleveland. We talked about it even with Brandon Whedon.
Second down and 10. Henne, he'll go deep here. And he was zeroing in on Mike Brown, who was a game-time decision, as we mentioned before, with the bad shoulder. The incompletion, 3rd down and 10.
Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. As you take a look at Brown, and here's Brandon Whedon. He told us he was going to cut it loose, Kevin. He said he was going to try to play with some great freedom. I think he trusted the tight end over the middle. Came back to bite him because I thought Cameron's got to prevent that ball from being intercepted by going for it himself. But on the second interception, Whedon's got to do a better job of reading the defense and going elsewhere with the ball.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 10. And that's Jones-Drew, grabbed on the play by Desmond Bryant. He picks up 2. He's near the 26. And looks like they'll try for 3. As the 2 rookies, they start 3 in the secondary, but 2 rookies have put their fingerprints on this one for Jacksonville with back-to-back interceptions. Cyprien and Gratz. And now they try for the 3 with Josh Scobie.
Yeah, and Rob Jasinski talked to his team about, the turnovers are something that we just can't keep putting our defense in this situation, but he has really implored his team to stick together through this adverse period. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. Over the last couple of weeks, the 8 turnovers, and now 2 more here today, so that's 10 turnovers for the offense in the last 2.5 football games. You still have a second half here to go today. And boy, just keeping the team together under these adverse circumstances has been very difficult.
44-yard field goal try for The kicker, Scobie, right down the middle. And Jacksonville will take a lead with 48 seconds to play in the half, cashing in on 2 Whedon interceptions, getting 10 points on the play. And by the way, if you're wondering who his backup is, it's a guy they signed earlier this week off the Dallas practice squad, Alex Tanney. So he's only just cracked open the playbook of Norv Turner here in Cleveland.
Alex Tanney, of the YouTube sensation. You should see what this kid could do with the football in terms of his overall accuracy. And the preseason with Dallas, completed 54% of his passes. He's out of Monmouth College, was undrafted in 2012, but they get him from Dallas because it's the same offense, the same language that they have on the offense here in Cleveland. And he had been in Kansas City, where some of the top brass here with the Cleveland Browns had known this player, had known Tanney in Kansas City. They followed him throughout the preseason in Dallas, was able to snatch him off the practice squad and put him on the 53-man roster.
So in a span of 31 seconds, with 2 quick interceptions thrown by Brandon Whedon, 10 unanswered points by Jacksonville, they've got their first lead today. And the subsequent kickoff by Scobie after his 44-yarder gave his team the 3-point lead, and Whitaker will leave it in the end zone.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars have 4 new starters in the secondary. Jonathan Cyprien picks off Brandon Whedon. Near ball intended for Jordan Cameron. It leads to the touchdown toss from Maurice Jones-Drew to Mercedes Lewis, and then Dwayne Gratz on the very next throw by Whedon gets an interception, setting up the field goal by Josh Scobie. 2 interception leads to 10 points for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can see this young football team, they're going to continue to grind away. Whedon's got to do a better job of taking care of the football.
Yeah, the 1st and 10. Whitaker following the block by Greco and takes it up and brought down by Geno Hayes on a gain of 5. Hayes played last year with Chicago up to the 25-yard line.
Not to make excuses for the quarterback, Kevin, but he's got to have anticipation. Cut the ball loose before the receiver hits his mark.
2nd and 5, Whedon. Good catch by Gordon. Talked about it a little bit. Over 100 yards receiving today. He picks up 14. And a timeout taken by the Browns. So Jacksonville has had 2 touchdown passes by 2 different guys throwing the ball, and 2 different receivers, both tight ends.
Remember, he talked about who he can trust and who he can't trust. He knows he can trust Josh Gordon, who's already hauled in 6 catches today for 125 yards. You get this one, get up and run out of bounds. You don't have to get vertical. Understand situational football if you're Josh Gordon, and then your coach won't have to burn that time out.
Cleveland out of timeouts. Jacksonville's got 1. 24 seconds to play in the first half. They need about 25 yards here for a field goal. 1st and 10 for Whedon. Outside for Whitaker. And finds refuge in the sideline. Here's the guy, Alan Ball, forcing him out of bounds after a gain of a meager yard to the 41.
You can hear all the coaches on the sideline for Cleveland telling Fozzie Whitaker after making the catch, get outside, get outside. In other words, make sure you get out of bounds when the play is done. He did a really good job of getting out of bounds to stop the clock with 18 seconds left.
Again, as we mentioned, Josh Evans is injured. So Winston Guy taking his place. 2nd down and 9 for Cleveland. Listen, Babin's been a little quiet today. Number 58 on the edge, or the Leo position as they call it. Best makes it in front of Grutz. Gain of 5 out of bounds, 45. With 14 seconds to play in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, but Marks has been a terror on the inside as they slide the line over to Babin. Give Marks credit for taking advantage of the one-on-one block.
That's a good point.
To get pressure on the quarterback.
It's 3rd down and 4. Here comes Babin. Knocked the ball away. And it's loose and picked up by Marks. Bumbling. There he goes. And all the way with another turnover, the 3rd by Cleveland here late in the first half. 5 seconds left, enough time to get the field goal unit out and tack on another 3. Centeric Marks comes up with a big play.
Watch Babin come around and swat the ball loose, and then Marks comes and scoops it up. Big guy moving nifty. Look at him. Now he's got a trip right there, and he nearly had himself a touchdown, but really good play by Babin with the left hand, working against Joe Thomas. Big Mark scoops it up so well, nearly had himself a touchdown, but 3 consecutive turnovers on 3 straight possessions by Brandon Wheat.
That Babin is a tough guy, man. He's put up a lot of sacks since 2010, 7th both in the NFL, and he was there on the quarterback knocking it free, a 36-yard try. And again, right down the middle, making it 20-14. Jacksonville on top. Whedon turning it over 3 times in the last 2.5 minutes. 2 interceptions. A forced fumble by Babin, recovered by Marks, putting him in field goal range. And that gives the Jacksonville Jaguars 13 points in the last minute 19 seconds. We take a break and take you to New York. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It goes for Gordon, who's got the ball, and a Cleveland Brown touchdown. He throws for a touchdown to Mercedes Lewis. Well, the Browns had 3 turnovers in the final 2.5 minutes of the half. Jacksonville with 13 points off those turnovers. So at halftime, Jacksonville leads Cleveland 20-14, which has been a hard-hitting game. Just as running back Maurice Jones-Drew and defensive back Buster Skrine. Football like you've never heard it. Presented by Sonos. There's a look at Brandon Whedon. 3 consecutive turnovers. Tough way to go.
It really is. And turnovers, we always said, Kevin, are the great equalizer. Cleveland Browns have gotten off to a great start, but then turnovers on 3 consecutive possessions robs them of their momentum. And more than anything, it allows the opposing team to get the ball on a short field and put points on the board. You mentioned it. 3 turnovers, a couple of interceptions by Brandon Whedon, then the strip fumble recovered by the Jacksonville Jaguars led to 13 points to finish off the first half of the ball game. And with Brandon Whedon and this offense, 11 turnovers in their last 10 quarters of play. He simply has to do a better job of protecting the football. It's what TJ Ward talked about after last week's game. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers.
4 against Cincinnati, 4 last week against Pittsburgh. Here we go, the second half. With Whitaker taking it out, and a touchback to the 20, and that's where Brandon Whedon will start. And through 30 minutes of football, here are some of the numbers here in Cleveland.
And you can see the rushing yards for Jacksonville. I think that's where they began to control this football game. But then once they had the 3 takeaways, put 13 points on the board, again, robbed the Cleveland Browns of great momentum, taking the lead at halftime. And if you're Rob Jasinski, what do you tell your team? Protect the football. And that's exactly what Gus Bradley tells his team. It's all about the ball, protecting it and taking it away.
McGahee on first down and 10. Russell Allen there, among others. Bottom of that pile is Marks. Gain of 4 to the 24.
We quote Gus Bradley. He told us yesterday because his team has only had 3 fumbles all season long. None by running backs, the fewest of any team in the NFL. And what does he coach on offense and defense? Guys, it's all about the ball. It's posted everywhere throughout their facilities.
With the second 6, here comes McGahee, brought down by Jonathan Cyprien in the secondary near the 35, an 11-yard gain and a Cleveland first down.
How about Willis McGahee getting some run? But you can see interception, fumble to close out the first half of this ball game. 3 consecutive turnovers on 3 straight possessions, and got off to a great start with touchdowns on 2 of their first 3 possessions of the ball game.
With the first down and 10. That is McGahee. Grabbed by Miller, no gain on the play. They stay at the 35. Jacksonville has won 2 of 3 after starting 0-8. Beat Houston last week. 2 consecutive road wins, and they're trying to feel good here after the bye, whereas Cleveland, with the win today, would be only 1 game, Solomon, behind Baltimore after the Ravens beat Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving night.
Rob Jasinski says his team is still in it. They know the playoff hopes are flickering. However, They believe that they're still in it, Kevin.
With a second down and 10, Brandon Wheaton out of Oklahoma State. And he's got Gordon, who is slippery and brought down by Cyprien and Hayes. 24-yard catch and run by Gordon for a first down.
Now, this ball is thrown well before Gordon. Look, as he comes out of the break, that ball is already cut loose. And that's what quarterbacks have to do, is anticipate, trust the receiver's going to get to their landmarks and throw the ball early. Gordon rewards Wheaton by hitting his mark and contesting for the football.
149 receiving yards by Gordon today on 1st and 10. Obadiah. Plus Leslie was there, along with Dederick on a gain of a yard.
Now if the Cleveland Browns could just run the football and maintain some kind of balance, not put it all on Wheaton to have to throw the ball into the teeth of the defense. Rob Chaszynski needs balance for this offense to remain consistent in moving the ball down the field and getting into the end zone.
How about in a game and a half, Josh Gordon has 386 receiving yards.
He's been on fire.
2nd down, 9. Good block by the tight end, Barnage. Going deep and looking for Gordon. Deflected and almost picked off. Great defensive play by Alan Ball. Part-time starter in his career comes up with a terrific play right there at the right corner.
Now watch. See, I think this ball should be thrown more inside. Lead Gordon away from the defender, not allow him to fade in and allow Ball to undercut this route. See, look, he stems him vertical as opposed to throwing the ball away from the defender and allowing Gordon to run to the ball. I think Wheaton could have thrown it maybe a little bit better. Certainly had the protection there.
With Whitaker in the backfield, 3rd down and 9. Now he goes in motion. They need the 31. Schwartz held up Marks. There's a flag. Little in front of Cyprien. On the chalk. And the marker, like we said, looked like maybe a hole on the play.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Geno Hayes will pick that one up for the Jaguars.
Yeah, Hayes is going to be holding right here. See, against Whitaker, right there. And he's more than 5 yards down the field. You can't hold him there, but look at Little. You got to make this catch, Kevin. Reward your quarterback. He's really struggling to see the ball and look it in and then make the reception.
After the first penalty on Jacksonville and only 3 on Cleveland, pretty clean game so far. First down. Whedon. Gordon. Oh, and a big hit, and he coughed it up and lost his helmet, and there goes a flag. The hit came from Winston Guy, who's taken the place of the injured Josh Evans. Boy, they zeroed in and took a look at the second-year receiver out of Baylor.
I'm going to say Guy hit Gordon as a defenseless receiver and led with the helmet.
Personal foul, number 22 defense. Illegal hit to the head of a defenseless receiver. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's the key. If you look, he's defenseless, and then here you see the hit.
The run-up, he was aiming.
That's right. You go to the head, neck, or shoulder area of a wide receiver, as Gordon was there in the defenseless situation. Look, he's focused on the ball. He's defenseless. He can't defend himself in that situation. Think an excellent call by the official.
Now Gordon will be looked at on the sideline. They lose a big part of their offense there. It is a first down. Here comes Whitaker trying to get a block from Mack and from Barnage. And Marks and Babbitt and others fight their way through, allowing only a gain of 2. He's down to the 18.
Now, if you're sitting at home and you're asking yourself, well, how else is Guy supposed to make a play on the ball? You can hit him in that defenseless position. You just can't hit him in the head, neck, or shoulder area with your head, shoulder, or forearm. So if you aimed for the torso here, perfectly legal hit. But see, he goes to the head. And you see the head hit the back of the ground where the helmet comes off. That's where it's all about player safety. You've got to protect players who are in that defenseless position, as you saw there with Josh Gordon.
So here's the 9th play of the drive. Second down and 8. Whedon for the tight end, Jordan Cameron. Knocked down by Guy, hit by Cyprien, picks up 10. And that will be a first down to the 9, 1st and goal, the Cleveland Browns. Browns.
I want to get that guy back in the ball game. They haven't been able to cover him, Kevin. Josh Gordon, 7 catches, nearly 150 yards receiving in the game. Want to get him back. It seems to me that of all the potential receivers, he's the guy that Whedon trusts the most.
1st and goal. Obadiah in the backfield. Blocked by Greco, and then he bumps inside and picks up 5. Plus Lesney along with Geno Hayes were there with the stop. Obadiah, who was originally selected by St. Louis in the 7th round. This team plucked him off the Houston Texan practice squad a couple years ago.
Yeah, he's been good for the football team. He has fumbled in recent weeks. Each of the last 2 weeks against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. But when he holds on to the football, he's very good running the ball and catching it out of the backfield.
Yeah, those turnovers have just really hurt.
Absolutely. He's contributed to it, and so has the quarterbacks.
2nd and goal at the 4 with a 5-minute drive. Good block there by Greco. That opens up the door. Little holds on. And that is a Cleveland Brown touchdown. A 4-yard touchdown pass by quarterback Brandon Whedon. They worked on Guy.
Oh, it starts with the protection, because I thought Andre Branch was going to have himself a sack. He got in early. They chip him and keep Whedon clean. Now watch him coming off the corner here. But once you keep him clean, Whedon steps up in the pocket, fires a laser in tight coverage. And how about Little? After we criticize him for not holding on to the ball, running good routes, able to make that catch for a touchdown, rewarding the quarterback. And even without Gordon on the field, they were able to make some plays, put a touchdown on the board.
Gratz may have been the guy that was assigned him. Whedon threads the needle. And we got some movement on the line as Little catches his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. Well, that Jacksonville penalty on 3rd down kept that drive alive for the Browns offense.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 92, the defense. Cleveland has elected to have the 5-yard penalty enforced on the kickoff.
Dederick, former New England Patriot, and Gordon is headed to the locker room, as you can see. They'll go through all the different concussion protocol on the sideline and in the locker room. Cundiff for the lead in 9:44 to play in the 3rd. So Whedon with a 4-yard laser to the receiver Greg Little in the back of the end zone. Well, on that drive that Whedon just engineered from his 20, they had a 11-yard run by McGahee. Gordon caught a ball for 24 yards, Cameron for 10, and then he found Little on the right there, 4 yards on a touchdown pass.
A redemption for both of those guys. Brandon Whedon making completions for a touchdown, and Greg Little actually catching the football after a drop earlier on the drive.
That'll be a touchback. And so after the touchdown, these teammates, Little and Gordon, kind of like handing the baton.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Aflac. When you're sick or hurt, Aflac pays you cash. Find out more at aflac.com. And by the Chevy Black Friday sale. Stop by your local dealer where you can find the best prices of the year on select models.
That was a pretty important drive by the Cleveland Browns coming out of the locker room at halftime.
It shows you they didn't fracture or splinter at halftime after giving up 13 points in the 2nd quarter off turnover.
On a 1st and 10, a little bit low and incomplete for the former Pro Bowl tight end Mercedes Lewis, because really they've had you talked about the turnovers, 2 straight picks off Whedon. He fumbled the ball and they go in 6 points down. If you're going to be demoralized, I mean, that's at the end of half like that. It was a great time to be demoralized.
And it's something that they had to address during the week is maintaining some unity and continue to play hard for one another. Something that Rob Jasinski talked about, and boy, did they do it on that last possession.
Showed a little character, didn't they? 2nd down and 10. Now the defense comes to play. There's T.J. Ward. It's a loss of 3. Jones-Drew with no place to run or hide. Back to the 17-yard line.
Well, if you don't turn the football over and you protect this defense, as you see Ward right there, knifing in, this defense can play at a championship level here in Cleveland. I think they've already proved it. They've shown it in recent weeks with their ability to take it away. We talk about playmakers at every level of the defense. And now, as they take the lead here in the third quarter, let's see what their defense can come up with.
It's 3rd and 13. They need the 30 into 6 defensive backs. Henning dropped. Shorts coverage by Hayden. They got a punt. Henny is one of his last 8 passes, but that one should have been caught.
Yeah, and Cecil Shorts runs a good route against Joe Hayden, man-to-man cover. Watch him break away and get separation right there. Little push-off, got to make that catch. You haul it in, good throw from Henny. Then you have yourself a first down, and you can regain some of the momentum lost.
Anger's going to punt, and Poyer's back about the 35 for the Cleveland Browns with very little wind, negligible wind inside the stadium today. Back to the 25, hang time of 4:38. Poyer broke one tackle and takes it up. Denard Robinson couldn't make the tackle. Up to about the 35, 11-yard return, 58-yard punt. Here comes Whedon, who has just brought his team on top. This Thanksgiving weekend, whether you're a parent, teacher, student, or fan, there's fun and easy ways for you to hop on the NFL Play 60 bus. Get on board the bus. Join the movement that has helped millions of children get active and healthy. Visit NFLrush.com/play60. McGahee on first down and 10. Wrapped up and brought down by Cyprien. The gain takes him to the 43, 7-yard gain. So here we have a team that has 3 turnovers at the end of the half. They come out at halftime. Their offense moves downfield. They get a touchdown pass. Then their defense does the job and continues the sway of the game.
And Rob Jasinski sent the message out at halftime. Stick together. Play hard. Exactly. The defense pitching the 3 and out there, I think, sets them up to even get more points. And we've seen a momentum shift in favor of Cleveland.
With a second down and 3, McGahee, and dragging him down, Roy Miller. Up near the 46 on a gain of 3. To New York and James Brown.
Tennessee, any way they can do it.
Yes, a 1-yard TD pass, Ryan Fitzpatrick to Chris Johnson. 14-12, Titans on top of the Colts.
Kevin looked a little bit like a jump hook. Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcox.
And who doesn't love a jump hook? As you can see, the Titans have lost 5 of their last 7. They need to win desperately.
Absolutely.
First down and 10. McGahee got it with a 3-yard run before that break from New York, and here he is again. Well, he's running about as well today as he's run all season long. Cyprien along with Hayes make the stop on a gain of 8 by Willis McGahee.
And Gary Barnage, the tight end. Nice kick-out block. Willis McGahee times it up well, and watch Barnage here on the kick-out block. And then run right underneath, hitting the hole, timing it up perfectly, getting to the second level. This is as productive as we've seen Willis McGahee since he's joined the football team.
Here's a 2nd and 2, and McGahee squirms and cuts and has the first down. Gets 4 right there. He's down near the 41. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry this afternoon.
And didn't we say if they can at least manufacture some semblance of a running game, you can see the season average for McGahee, 31 yards per game today, 54. I think it takes a load of the burden off of Rob Jasinski's quarterback in Brandon Wheaton. Gives them some balance. Gives them the possibility of play-action pass to get the ball down the field.
A long time since this franchise has had a 100-yard rusher back to last year. Whitaker out of the backfield, a 1st and 10 from the 41 of Jacksonville. That's Obadiah, who is down about the 36-yard line. It's a gain of 4, hit by the linebacker, Geno Hayes.
Hayes is all over that one. And Obadiah's filling the ribs on that one. Hayes made sure that he was going to fill that one. Good tackle in the open field.
No word yet from the Browns on Josh Gordon, who is going through the concussion protocol in the locker room for the Cleveland Browns. He's had a monster day with 7 catches and 149 receiving yards. Not sure if he'll return or not. 2nd down and 6. But when we find out, you'll find out. From the 37 of the Jaguars. And Wheaton hits his tight end, Jordan Cameron, who is brought down by Cyprien again. That's a gain of 5 to the 33.
And what do you lose without Josh Gordon, Kevin? You lose the ability, I think, to stretch the field. The respect that the defense normally gives a player like Gordon. That's 2 defenders it takes to cover over the top and then underneath.
3rd and 2, Obadiah. I think Alu was the one to trip him up, and then he just kind of fell into what was there on a gain of 2 near the 31, and they've got the first down. So they're converting some third downs here in the second half. They look like almost a different kind of offense.
Well, the offense now has gone to a more shorter, rhythmic passing game, and then, of course, their ability to run the football. That's been really good, particularly on this drive. But without Gordon, I think the defense can creep closer to the line of scrimmage. They can cover even tighter, because who's going to be the receiver to stretch the field without Josh Gordon for the Cleveland Browns?
With a couple tight end, 8th play of the drive. Fake to McGahee. Whedon on the move, and down to about the 25-yard line on a gain of 5, and going back and finishing off the third down story for the Browns. 4 of 8 today, a very respectable percentage of it.
Really good, and they ran all 3 intended receivers down the field. Greg Little went down the field. Josh Cooper went down the field. Jordan Cameron, neither was able to get separation for Rob Szynski. But you can see in the second half of today's game, this Jacksonville offense has yielded a -3 yards total offense.
It's second down and 5. McGahee with Posluszny among a couple, and Allen right there. No gain on the play. Now they'll bring in some extra defensive backs and face a 3rd and 5.
Another critical third down play. Now, if you're Jacksonville, you got to be thinking, without Josh Gordon on the field for Cleveland, I think you got to double Jordan Cameron, and then you've got to expect to cover the other receivers one-on-one. And they'll probably, if they can't go to Cameron, then they'll go to Little. But watch Best, because he's really good at beating one-on-one defense as well.
3rd down and 5. Cooper is in with Gordon being out as an extra receiver. They move up, and here comes Posluszny. And down he goes. Branch is there as well. A big sack by Paul Posluszny. His 2nd sack of the season, 9th of his career. 3rd sack today.
And watch, here's Posluszny here. He's going to come and get immediate penetration. They overload to the right side, and they split the guard and tackle, bringing Posluszny free. Difficult coverage to read on the back end, forces Whedon to hold on to the football, risk throwing an interception.
3rd sack today by the Jacksonville defense. Here is a 53-yard try by Cundiff, who has banged in 11 consecutive field goals with minimal breeze here inside the stadium, and no good. He misses from 53. Those 7 yards on that sack made a big difference on this one. And the Browns come up empty.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with Kay.
That guy's going to be busy here the next month. Here's a 1st and 10 handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew hit by Hayden, and they take over with the missed field goal of 53 by Cundiff. That's a gain of 6 by MJD up to the 49.
Kevin, prior to this possession by Jacksonville, -3 yards total offense. What do they have to do to get going? I think you feed the ball to Maurice Jones-Drew, to Jordan Todman in the run game. Try to duplicate the success you had in the first half.
2nd down and 4. Jones-Drew again. Looked like Billy Wynn and Hughes all there with the stop on a gain of 2. Over the last 4 games leading into today, Jones-Drew had 20 receptions. In the first 7 games, he had only 10. Today, he's only caught 1.
Well, if you can run the ball against this Cleveland Brown defense as good as they are at stopping the run, you've got yourself a shot.
It's 3rd down and 2. With a couple of tight ends, are going to reposition Danny Noble. And we're talking about the receiving. Jones-Drew, a drop right there, and again, T.J. Ward disruptive on the wing, and they got a punt.
Credit the pressure in the face of the quarterback, Henne. Can't get anything on this ball because, look, Jabal Shear forces the high throw. That's why the ball could not get there with great haste in the hands of Maurice Jones-Drew. And if you don't get it there quickly where you can catch it and make a move on Ward, Ward's going to blow him up to prevent the catch and run for a 1st down.
Engard's a punt. And Devon Best, the former Dolphin, will let it bounce and back and kick into the end zone, and a touchback. So back to the 20 and a 49-yard punt. Ryan Anger and the Jaguars down by 1 late third in Cleveland. Good news if you're a Browns fan. Gordon is back out there. He's been feasting today after coming off a 237-yard receiving performance last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. After the punt, which went into the end zone, 1st and 10, Fozzie Whitaker. He began, don't pull down his drawers there. Leslie grabbing on. Loss of a yard on the play. Back to the 19, the cheers for Gordon and the cheers for the crazy ones. On Thursday on CBS, a Victoria's Secret model reveals all to Robin Williams. It's a good news, sexy, crazy ones. Thursday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS.
You think this town is crazy for Josh Gordon right about now?
I think they are.
And happy that he's come back into the ball game.
Lining up against Grotz, 2nd down and 11. Whedon. Gordon. Grotz shoves him out of bounds, but a 1st down to the 29 and a pickup of 10. What a day. He's had 159 through the air.
Wasting no time going to Josh Gordon. It began early in the ball game with a 42-yard strike down the right side and then getting him the football for a touchdown. This guy had over 100 yards early in the ball game and then took a hit here in the 3rd quarter. Had to go in to be checked for concussion. And now he's back into the ball game. If you had 150 yards early in the game, you'd want back in too, Kevin.
Absolute 3rd down and 1. Willis McGahee sifting through traffic, brought down by Puz Leslie and picks up 3 right there. Momentum shift in this 3rd quarter, huh?
It certainly has. And the dog pound is ecstatic. This team has kept their composure after 3 first-half turnovers, and now they battle back to take the lead, and they have their star receiver back in the game as Cleveland leads 21-20.
We start the 4th quarter with a 1st and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Fozzie Whitaker looking for some room. Cyprian makes sure he doesn't get it. Allen just throws Whitaker to the side. Russell Allen, who for so long was special teams and a backup, began as a starter last year. It is a gain of a yard to the 31.
Oh, they're hitting down there, Kevin.
They are.
As you get into the month of December, teams really start to lay it on. Even teams that aren't vying for a playoff spot like these Jacksonville Jaguars. They're playing for something maybe a little bit different in terms of trying to build a winner. It all starts with the effort and energy you're seeing from this football team today.
With a 2nd down and 10. Going underneath, Gordon brought down by Allen with a shoestring tackle at the 37. On a gain of 6 to New York and James Brown.
Kubiak on the sideline. Texans won't quit.
Yes, JB, the Texans retake the lead thanks to 2 plays. First one, 66-yard catch and run. DeAndre Hopkins from Case Keenum led to a 10-yard TD run by Ben Tate. 31-28, Texans on top of the pack.
Back to Kevin and solid.
Hopkins, a rookie. He is the future at that position. First time that Kubiak has been on the sideline since his heart issue. On 3rd and 3, Obadiah cuts a swath for 6. Picks up the 1st down up to the 44.
Cleveland's run the ball really well in the 2nd half here, Kevin. Sean Laval, the right guard pulling. Obadiah hitting it up in the middle of this Jaguars defense. And whether it's Willis McGahee or Chris Obadiah, they're starting to run the football for the Cleveland Browns. We said if they can run it. 95 yards on the ground so far. And you can see what they've done in the 2nd half rushing the football.
2 tight ends, 1st and 10. Thomas the block at the left tackle. Underneath, Willis McGahee, one of his best games on offense this year for the Cleveland Browns. He picks up 9, brought down by Puz Leslie with the spot at the 47.
The offense being very productive here in this game. North Turner calling the plays from on high. They've scored on their first possession of the game. First time they've done that in 20 games. They had gone 19, I should say, consecutive games without doing so. So North Turner's got this offense in rhythm as long as they protect the football.
2nd and 1, McGahee. And hit on the play by Branch with a gain of 2 near the 45. If you look at the history of North Turner, and you've talked about this, and you touched on it right there, there's always been this central character who can run the ball well.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Whether it's Emmitt Smith, whether it's LaDainian Tomlinson in San Diego, it starts with their ability to run the football. And then he always has that long, linear, big wide receiver. Josh Gordon, 6'3", 225, whether it was Vincent Jackson in San Diego or, of course, the great Hall of Famer Michael Irvin in Dallas. You got to have a guy that you can get the ball to down the field, and they have that in Cleveland in Josh Gordon.
Good explanation. Ninth play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the 45. Look out! Here comes Dederick, and there goes the ball. I throw it away too. Alu was up the middle, and Dederick was coming from the side, and he throws it away.
There was a lot of pressure, a lot of trash in the pocket around Wheaton. And you can see there is Alu. Right there, Dederick 92 closing in. Wheaton dumps it, gets rid of it, prevents the sack.
Browns have had some nice long drives today on offense.
They really have. And you know, Wheaton's done a much better job here of cutting it loose, making some plays, throwing the ball. He's also had, I think, the run game to aid his cause of getting the ball down the field.
Base defense. False start.
False start. Number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Sean Laval. That's an interesting thing for a team that has only won 4 games like the Browns and trying to find themselves. That offensive line has been about as constant a thing with their season as any part of their team.
The same 5 guys who started last year starting this year. So you do have some continuity. But they just need more playmakers, I think, at the quarterback position and then around the quarterback position.
2nd down, 15. They need the 35. That was tapped at the line of scrimmage. Now Branch was in his face. And it may have been Marks who got a hand out. We'll have to go back and see.
There it is right here. You can see Marks and big 99 getting into the face of Wheaton. And Derek Marks is, you know, he's carving out new real estate in that Cleveland Browns backfield, isn't it?
Originally, Solomon, a 2nd-round pick by Tennessee back in 2009.
Constant penetration, very active on the front for Jacksonville.
5 defensive backs, 3rd and 15 for Cleveland, needing the 36. Pocket is congested, looking for Jordan Cameron, and he had a linebacker on the coverage. That was the guy to go to, and Geno Hayes was on the coverage. Good pressure by Jacksonville, forcing a punt for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, the pressure is off the right side of Brandon Wheaton. You can see they blitz. Cyprian getting pressure and push. That ball just sails a little high on Wheaton. Could not step up in the pocket as Chris Obadiah couldn't keep Jonathan Cyprian from getting close to the quarterback.
Spencer Lanning. A. Sanders from the 15. Couple of Gamecocks involved there. The punter and the punt returner from South Carolina. Timeout. There's a look at Cecil Shorts, who's only caught 2 passes today.
Oh, the offense is bogged down amidst those drop passes by Cecil Shorts.
Taking over after the punt from the 15, Chad Henne. Batted down to Quell Jackson. Got in the passing lane and swats it away with a nice defensive play for the Cleveland Browns.
DeQuell Jackson, one of the best players in this league that you don't hear a whole lot about. He just makes plays. He's a leader in the locker room and on the field with plays like that. Getting into the passing lane. Look, he's just mirroring the vision of Chad Henne and gets in the way and prevents the completion there. 7 plays, only 5 yards this half for the Jacksonville offense. They've gone 3 and out twice here in the 2nd half.
You see those numbers right there. Henne is only one of his last 10. 2nd and 10. Look out, here comes Bryant. There goes the ball, and off the fingertips of Harbor with the coverage by Buster Screen. 3rd down coming up for Jacksonville.
Well, we told you the offense is coming up goose egg here in the 2nd half because of plays left on the field like that. Cecil Shorts drops one. Jordan Todman puts one on the ground. And then what could have been a 1st down completion for Henne, Cecil Shorts puts another one on the ground. 4 drop passes today for Gus Bradley's group on offense. And talk about leaving plays on the field. You just saw it there.
All right, 3rd down now coming up for Jacksonville.
Yeah, the 6th time the Jaguars have had 3rd and 10 or longer in this game.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 10. They need the 25. Henne caught by Todman. Grabbed by Jackson. Slides for a first down up to the 27-yard line. Picks up 12. And the Jaguars continue the drive.
How about that? You catch the ball, Kevin, you can make some plays. This Todman matched up one-on-one against DeQuell Jackson. Comes underneath. Is able to make this catch. Extended beyond the first down marker before Jackson can make that tackle. Creates a new set of downs for Jacksonville.
Nice third down conversion there for the Jaguars from the pistol here. Shorts with a block from Sanders. And Hayden some out of bounds across the way. Cecil Shorts, Cleveland native, gain of 7 right there to the 33.
Well, we already showed you him dropping one like this earlier on the bubble screen. Good block by Ace Sanders. Hayden's got to detach from that block and still make the tackle. One of the more difficult plays now for corners to defend. You have to make the tackle in space and get off a blocker to try to prevent a big gain on that bubble screen.
A lot of moving parts.
Absolutely.
Second down and 3 from the pistol again. The other side was Shorts. The stiff arm into screen. And a first down, catch and run to the 41.
Bubble screen versus buster screen, right? And he's able to make the play, but this is just an extension of the running game. It's an easy completion for the quarterback. All your receiver has to do is make the catch, and you have a blocker out in front of you. It's not meant to break for the big one. It's just meant to really create a positive gain, pick up a first down, at least 5 yards on that little bubble.
First down and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Tripped up on the play initially by Eubanks. Gain of 3 to the 43.
Well, Eubanks does a good job getting outside. He doesn't get cut off. He nearly does, but he's able to get out there and get to the feet of Maurice Jones-Drew to trip him up. Right now, Jacksonville appears to have some rhythm on offense. 3-yard gain. Looking at a 2nd and 7.
Again playing with the nickel. Henne, second down and 7. Nice looking catch by Sanders. That's good for a first down. Hit by Mingo. Down to the 49. 8-yard pickup.
Jacksonville's got 11 personnel on the field. That's 1 running back, 1 tight end. That puts 3 wide receivers out there. That's why you're getting the nickel defense for Cleveland. But they're able to get a matchup. If you can get your slot receiver, Ace Sanders, against a linebacker in Eubanks, you expect to win that matchup.
Whoops. Past it. Who they like, the right tackle.
False start. Number 67 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Boy, they've had all kinds of issues at tackle after trading Eugene Monroe. Joko went from right tackle to left tackle. He was injured. They moved Bradfield over from right tackle to left tackle and then inserted Austin Pastor, who's made a lot of starts, and they like him in the future.
2 starting offensive tackles at the beginning of the year, now gone. They traded one, then lost one. Their first-round pick, Luke Joko, due to injury.
1st and 15, Henne, draw play. Jones-Drew. Gain of 5 as he is brought down by Jackson, among others, at the 49. That almost looked like a play where the quarterback makes the decision and the guy just hangs back there until he finds or doesn't find a receiver. That time he couldn't find anything.
It's called a delay draw. They want the pass rush to come screaming up the field to get to the quarterback, and once the defensive line makes it past that back, just stick it in his belly, allow him to weave his way for a significant gain. I thought it was well defended by Cleveland.
But if he found someone, he could have thrown the ball too, correct?
Yeah.
Second down 10. Mingo the hit. And incomplete to Shorts. Ward was there, Owens and Hayden. The pressure was coming right up the middle and in Henne's drill from Mingo.
And now we're going to be faced with another 3rd and 10 play for Jacksonville. But you can see the pressure by Mingo on the quarterback. Didn't go to the head. Stayed at that strike zone where you want the defender to make contact with your quarterback. Now in 3rd and 10, remember the last time they were able to match up Todman coming out of the backfield against a linebacker.
Now they've got Todman and Jones back there.
There you go. They're going to try to go to one of them depending on the matchup.
Here's Jones-Drew is back there. Back to pass, Henne, 3rd and 10. Here comes Bryant. Pass is underthrown. Coverage by Jackson looking for Maurice Jones-Drew. It's incomplete. It's 4th down, and they will punt.
Well, they run off everyone, and look, both running backs come out of the backfield, but because of the pressure in the face of Henne, he doesn't want to risk trying to get it to Jones-Drew, and then it has to hold it late as Jackson closes in on coverage on MJD.
Anger to punt again. He's twice punted from right around midfield, and both times have been a touchback. He has not been able to keep the ball in.
We've seen this Cleveland Brown defense improve on third down, haven't we?
The momentum is completely shifted here in the second half. Fair caught, 14, Devon Bess. 35-yard punt. The Browns will take over. There was a big hit by Barkevius Mingo up the middle.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chase Rito. Get your cash back. The new Intel-powered 2-in-1s. Intel. Look inside. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Very pleasant weather day here in Cleveland. Browns. Oh, and a long snap that goes over the head of Whedon, who then does his best Pele and kicks it out of bounds on a bad snap from Alex Mack, the longtime center, and one of the best in the business for the Cleveland Browns.
The ball. The result of this play is a safety.
Right.
We're going to determine what Jacksonville wants to do. It's also a loss of down foul.
He kicked it away on the
safety.
Shotgun snap. Third lead change, and Jacksonville is on top. Now, we're kind of here in disbelief because this is one of the best centers in pro football, Alex Mack, and that shotgun snap just for no reason went sailing.
And it's like a turnover, no doubt, because Jacksonville's going to get the ball and the lead with the 2-point on the safety.
Here comes Ace Sanders, who got away from McFadden. Now the punter bumps him out of bounds, and that was Spencer Lanning, a 31-yard return by rookie Ace Sanders. And again, Jacksonville with good position. Here it is again.
And this is just by muscle memory. Snaps it over the head of Brandon Wheaton. The muscles don't remember as well, and Wheaton's forced to, he just kicks it out. And, of course, I think he did the right thing because you don't want it recovered for a touchdown, but then that sets up Sanders for the long return and excellent field position.
Here they go on 1st and 10. Fourth time today they have started a drive in Cleveland territory. A gain of 3 by Maurice Jones-Drew to the 40-yard line.
I want to go back, talk about the snap, because Alex Mack is one of the better centers we have in the National Football League. It's a shotgun snap. He's got to do that just by feel and touch. And now you use muscle memory like in your golf game. It doesn't always work out, does it, Kevin?
Not all the time, no.
For some of us more than others. Right?
For you, yes. 2nd down and 7. Jones-Drew. Grabbed by Taylor, whacked by Sheard, flag is down. Looked like a little face mask there. No gain on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, number 98 defense. 15-yard penalty. Wow. First down.
Huge chunk, huge gain, and a new set of downs. Look at Taylor knifing in on the cutback by Jones-Drew. There you see left hand gets plenty of face masks and a 15-yard penalty. Cleveland pretty much dominated this game for the entire third quarter.
Third quarter, right. And then a fluke play like that, which you just would never predict, especially from the guy who had the bad snap. Henny. Mercedes Lewis leaping into the grasp of Joe Hayden with a catch and run of 14 yards, and he takes it to the 12th.
Joe Hayden's not the biggest of corners at 5'11", 190, but boy, he run up in the chest of a 6'6", 270 pounds Mercedes Lewis. You love the tenacity of a Joe Hayden, the way he plays the game.
I got to say, when you're looking at the numbers, you knew Mercedes Lewis had 52 catches last year. He came into today with 9. Has made 2 today. I was very surprised by those numbers.
Very surprised. You expect his production to be much higher.
1st and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew. Ward, his cousin, knocks him down. It's a gain of 3 and a little. Yeah, there they go.
You can see him talking. Smiles, of course. Nice competitive banter between the two. And they know this guy's a tough guy to get on the ground. Ward went really low. If you think you can't go low on Maurice Jones-Drew, Ward went very low.
2nd down and 7. It's Mike Brown in motion. It's after screen. Jones-Drew, Ataba Rubin, and John Hughes. meet him at the line and a loss of a yard. Back to the 10.
Cleveland Brown defense starting to tighten up down inside the red zone. You know, Chad Henne came into today's game completing 68% of his passes outside the red zone, but once he gets down here, only completing 31%. That's a huge disparity. We talked about their improvements inside the red zone last 3 weeks. Really is because they've been able to run the football much better.
Into the nickel, 3rd down and 8. Ace Sanders with a beat on him, Eubanks, along with Chris Owens. It is a gain of 3, and he's down to the 7. So here comes the field goal unit for Jacksonville.
No, watch it. Just good play. Mingo trying to get up the field to contain the quarterback. Nice little completion. But after the long return and then the 15-yard penalty on the face mask by Phil Taylor, they set up Scobie for the field goal.
Scobie's had a couple today. 25-yarder right here. Catch and run by Mercedes Lewis of 14 yards puts him in this great position to try for what would appear to be an easy 3 and tack him on, and it's 25-21. Jacksonville by 4 with 4:14 to play in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150. And by Verizon. Never be without football with NFL Mobile from Verizon.
Solly, how about the last 4 scoring drives for Jacksonville? 17 yards, 2 yards, no yards, and 36 yards, and they got a 4-point lead.
Yeah, the no yards is a gift on the safety from the center, Alex Mack.
It was a safety. Whitaker's going to be able to bring this out, and he does. For the Cleveland Browns, looking for a gap, and he's brought down by Cyprien with a 30-yard return.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 24, receiving team. Half the distance of the goal, 1st down.
Johnson Botamosi picks it up, a special team maven for the Cleveland Browns. Next Saturday, CBS Sports is your championship destination. First, the SEC Championship game on CBS. Missouri taking on Auburn. Then it's the Mountain West Championship as Utah State will battle Fresno State. That's at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. It all begins with college basketball. Missouri and UCLA next week right here on CBS.
If you attempt a 58-yard field goal, do you start to put speed guys out there now to block? Just in case it's returned. What a game last night with Auburn and Alabama.
In the end zone, first. Oh, it's caught by Gordon. He's over 200 yards. This has never happened back-to-back in the history of pro football, and he takes it 95. Can you believe it? He had 237 receiving yards last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This week, well over 295-yarder right there.
Home run hitter, Kevin, is what we called him at the top of the game. He catches this one. It's a catch and run, and boy, this is biggest play of the day. The speed to run away from the defense for Josh Gordon. We should just call him Flash Gordon.
261 yards this week, 237 last week, and the kid they thought they might trade, who was suspended the first 2 games of the regular season, has come on to be now probably the most prolific wide receiver in just his 2nd season, at least so far through 12 games this year in the NFL. He has been amazing.
And he breaks his own record that he set last week for most receiving yards in a single game with 237, 261, and we still have time left to play in this one. Incredible.
And not to miss the main fact that Cleveland has taken the lead.
Oh, this is incredible. We told you we found at least one receiver he can trust, and it's Josh Gordon. Look at that. set a single-game franchise record last week against Pittsburgh with 237, and then comes back today and breaks that record with 261, even after being taken in and checked for a concussion. Comes back into this game. Missed nearly all of the third quarter of this game, Kevin, and still put up 261.
And then how do you analyze Brandon Whedon with 342 passing yards today, 3 touchdowns, and then 2 picks?
You analyze it by saying, get the ball to Josh Gordon. That's some good analysis there, right?
Now, how does Jacksonville respond? We have a 3-point game. The ensuing kickoff by Cundiff, and Taubman will let it go. And so, with 3 timeouts and 3:55 to play, Jacksonville down by 3 will get the ball. But this place is jumping. And they're talking about him, Josh Gordon from Baylor, and Solly mapped out his track. He was a supplemental second-round pick a year ago who's had some off-the-field issues. He stayed clear. One more strike and he could get a year-long suspension. That's the kind of thin ice he skates on now.
This team was desperate last year. They needed to get a receiver in the 2012 draft. They didn't get it on draft day. And then they used a supplemental pick to get this kid. And many people question that selection. And boy, has it paid off. And so has their patience with Josh Gordon, putting up huge numbers in North Turner's offense.
All right, here comes Chad Henne with a 1st and 10. Pastor does his job on Kruger. And Henne throw, nice knockdown by Screen. Going for Sanders. 2nd down and 10.
This Cleveland Brown defense is playing lights out. Most of these points have come for Jacksonville after turnovers on a short field or on a safety. But if you force them to go the long haul against this defense, they haven't shown that they can do it quite yet. It's Cleveland Browns defense, very good, as we said, at all 3 levels. Buster Screen, I think one of the most improved players on this Browns defense.
He was the most heavily penalized defensive back in the NFL last year.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 10. There goes a flag. They came from the opposite side, and Sheard and others were putting pressure, and then you saw the flag. Offsides is the call.
Offside. Number 99 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Paul Kruger, one-time recruit of a coach at Utah. His name was Urban Meyer, and he was recruited as a quarterback by Meyer at Utah, who then left and never had a chance to coach Kruger at Utah.
Well, and someone said, you know, go rush the quarterback. How about that?
And he said, okay.
He's done a really good job at it.
He won a Super Bowl last year with Baltimore.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 5. Henne. And he's got Sanders, and there he goes to midfield as they beat Tashawn Gibson. What a catch. Good throw. 25-yard pickup and a 1st down for Jacksonville.
Nice touch throw by Henne, because you'll see Sanders lined up to the left side. Watch him drop this one right over Gibson, right where Sanders can run underneath it. The speed of Sanders getting beyond Gibson, creating a huge play on offense. Now getting some movement against the Browns defense that have been really stingy here in the 2nd half.
1st and 10. Grabbed by Shorts. Oh, Hayden does not make the tackle, did not wrap him up, and down he goes. But catch and run, picking up 16 yards to the 34.
Yeah, they're blitzing, so it's one-on-one coverage on the outside. Hayden gets turned around, gets out of position badly, but then has to make this tackle. Cecil Shorts does a good job of staying in bounds and creating additional yards. They have to tighten up the back end, particularly on those man-to-man coverage plays when they're blitzing up front.
Well, time permitting, coming up after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Aflac, JB and Company, scores, highlights, and news from New York. Right here on CBS. 4 lead changes today in Cleveland. 3-point game. 1st and 10. Henne. Reese Jones drew, and Gibson makes the stop with a gain of 4. They get to the 30. They're well within the range right now of kicker Josh Scobie. They need more than just 3.
Yeah, fast flare out of the backfield, trying to get Jones-Drew matched up against the linebacker in one-on-one coverage, well defended with his own defense. Henne's trying to implore the coaches for Jacksonville, get the play in quickly so he can beat the clock. Need time to read the defense.
2nd down and 6. Maurice Jones-Drew, Sanders with the block. He puts his head down right into the belly of Chris Owens. Runs down to the 25, about a yard shy after the gain of 5. Maurice Jones-Drew.
Wow, and there's Chris Owens, who's nicked up on the play.
Right leg. So on this drive, they got Shorts for a 16-yard catch and run. The big play to midfield. Sanders caught one for 25 on a beautiful pass from Chad Henne.
Well, they're moving the offense against. Look at that block right there against Buster Screen. And there's Owens. Owens takes a hit from his own guy, Ataba Rubin.
Injury timeout just before the 2-minute warning. Buster Screen remains in the game. Owens was the one who was hurt. He walks off under his own power. So Screen is back there with McFadden and Hayden and Ward and Gibson. Part of the secondary. That is the secondary right now for the Cleveland Browns. Now we have reached the 2-minute warning. It will be 3rd and 1 for Jacksonville, down by 3 when we come back to Cleveland. Tennessee is losing. The Jets are losing. A win by Cleveland. There'll be a game and back of Baltimore after Baltimore beat Pittsburgh Thanksgiving night. 3rd and 1, 2-minute warning. Jones-Drew, head down, he's got it. Brought down by Eubanks, he picks up 5. He's down to the 21. The drive stays alive. 1st and 10, Jacksonville.
And now if you're Jacksonville, you're trying to bleed as much time off the clock as you possibly can. If you're Cleveland, you want it to stop. If I'm Jacksonville right now, though, you're going to go ahead and run it. And you're trying to play again for the touchdown. You're not playing for a tie. Remember, you're 2-9 at this point. You're playing for a touchdown and try to eat as much clock as possible.
1st and 10, Ace Sanders blocked by Shorts. Good beat on him. That's Joe Hayden, gain of 1. When do you start using timeouts if you're Cleveland?
I like to see them use them really right about now. They're going to try to get a stop here on 3rd down, or I should say on 2nd and 9. I like to go ahead and see them stop the clock right now, to be honest with you. You got 3 timeouts. In my mind, there's no sense in saving them.
2nd down and 9. Scobie continues to warm up on the Jacksonville sideline. Henne, here comes Bryant in a wobbler. With McFadden right there, looking for Sanders, incomplete. Clock at 45 seconds. 3rd and 9 for the Jaguars.
McFadden almost had himself an interception there. Henne's got to be very careful throwing that ball.
Jacksonville took over at their own 20 with 3:55 to play, and upcoming is the 9th play. It's 3rd and 9. Henne going for 6. He's got Shorts. That is a touchdown. What a throw by Henne. And what a terrific catch by Shorts. And the Jaguars, after the 20-yard touchdown pass, are on top.
And they beat Joe Hayden, the Cleveland Browns' best defender, on the one route you could ill afford to give up if you're Joe Hayden, and that's the double move. Don't bite on anything short. Why would you jump that route? That's the one you give them. And you don't want to give them this one over your head for a touchdown so that Jacksonville can take the lead. Let's see if he got 2 feet in. 1, 2. They may want to look at that one. I'm not so sure he had the ball when he had that first foot down. Let's take a look at it. There's a catch. Now 1 foot down.
2.
There you go. It's like there's movement of that ball, Kevin. It's going to be very interesting. See if they rule catch and control. See, he's bobbling there. So that's 1. And see, that second one wasn't in. If you're talking about control of the ball, it's got to remember, it's got to be catch and control. So yes, he has it there, but doesn't control it till that foot is down. And then I think that's the second foot the officials would like to see in bounds to rule it a touchdown. This one could be overturned. I think it could clearly be overturned there. Wasn't a clean catch initially. It's got to be catch and control with 2 feet in. Nonetheless, if you're Joe Hayden, you can't bite on that underneath route, can you?
No, well, you've played the position for 8 years in the NFL. You should know, and Hayden should know.
Yeah, he should. And I'm sure he's kicking himself right now. He understands, he knows better. He took a gamble and could have lost unless this one is overturned. It is my position that it wasn't a clean catch initially. Ball moving. There's one, and see the second one is out of bounds.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Wow.
The receiver had 2 feet down with control in the end zone.
Jacksonville has gone on top by 3:40 seconds. Cleveland's got all 3 timeouts. And Henne throws the touchdown pass, his second today. Now the extra point, which means so much.
So they clearly ruled that he had control. Very subjective. Could go either way, but they saying that he had control from the moment he had that first foot down, and then the second foot, as we saw, was in bounds after maintaining control.
Remember on that drive, there was a 16-yard catch and run by Shorts, a 25-yard pass to Sanders. The important extra point to make it a 4-point game, which is true by Scobie. And the Jaguars, in what is our 5th lead change today, in what has been a terrific game between 2 teams that don't bring in very good records. And the last time that Jacksonville won 3 straight on the road, go back to 07 at Tampa Bay. In October, they defeated the Buccaneers by 1 for their 3rd consecutive win on the road. They have not had a 3-game road winning streak since. Boy, some great names. There's Reggie Nelson, I think, who got that one right there. And great names from the past to the Jaguars.
I want to go back to the 2nd and 9 play. I thought Rob Trzcinski should have used one of those timeouts. 40 seconds left on the clock with 3 timeouts. I would prefer to have more than a minute left on the clock with 2 timeouts in my hip pocket. Time is of the essence, I think, even greater than, say, that extra timeout in this case.
So that is how Jacksonville answers the 95-yard catch and run by Gordon, which put the Browns on top with a good-looking drive of their own, and a Henne to Shorts 20-yard touchdown pass, beating arguably as good a cornerback as you'll find in the AFC in Joe Hayden. Now, they're going to leave it in the end zone. Ozzie Whitaker will go to the knee. 40 seconds to play. 3 timeouts for Cleveland. And they'll begin the drive from their 20. 1st and 10, and as you know and see, with a 4-point lead, a field goal does them no good.
2 game-winning drives in the 4th quarter, overtime in the career of Brandon Wheaton. If you're Jacksonville, defend with all costs the deep ball to Josh Gordon, and you want to tackle the catch and run. But with 3 timeouts, remember, the entire field is at the disposal of Brandon Wheaton. He can throw it over the middle of the field and still call the timeout. Don't necessarily have to throw it on the sideline.
Open eye in the backfield. Here's a 1st and 10 for Brandon Wheaton, thrown in back to the receiver Devon Bess. And Bess had room. Not that it would have produced any kind of great yards, but it is incomplete. 2nd and 10, and they burn 4 seconds.
But you got to make this completion. He's wide open, and he's going to be able to get out of bounds to stop the clock. So you get the gain, and you're still able to stop the clock without having to burn a timeout.
The Jaguars are playing with 5 in the secondary. 2nd down and 10. Wheaton going deep. And he's looking for 12. And he was out of bounds a little bit. Alan Ball was defending on the side for the Jaguars.
Kevin, he actually had room to complete this. Look at this. If you're the safety, why would you not snuggle closer to Josh Gordon? Look, you're late getting over is Cyprien. They had an opportunity to complete that one down the field to Josh Gordon. Now they have to keep him off the field on this play because a little bit exhausted after going deep and, of course, gained 261 yards in this game.
3rd down and 10. Gordon has caught 10 passes, had 14 receptions last week. Wheaton bumping into his own blocker, Greco. Underneath he goes to Little, racing out of bounds. He was knocked out that time by Alan Ball. It is a gain of 5, and he's up to the 25 on a day where we've had 5 lead changes. The Browns are still alive in the AFC playoff race. But at the end of the first half, there were 3 consecutive turnovers, which swung the ball and the game toward Jacksonville. The third quarter was controlled by Cleveland, but Jacksonville has come back after we've seen some fireworks here over the last couple possessions. Here it is, 4th and 5. They need the 30. Brandon Weeden has thrown 3 touchdowns today. They got the first down. There goes Bess. Brought down by Mike Harris. Pickup of 13. Quick timeout, and they got 3. Now 2 for the Cleveland Browns and 17 seconds to play.
You have to be able to design a play either to run Josh Gordon deep, expecting him to get behind the defense and try to get it to him down the field, or use him maybe as the decoy to run defenders off and run someone as a trailer in the area that he would vacate, opening up something in the underneath zone to create a sizable gain.
We have had NFL history here today. For those of you around the country joining us, that guy right there, second-year player out of Baylor, Josh Gordon, has accumulated 261 receiving yards on 10 receptions. That goes up against last week's performance of 237 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. No receiver in the history of pro football has caught back-to-back 200-yard receiving games. 1st and 10. Babin going after Weeden, who backhands it incomplete. His best impression of our friend Brett Favre. 2nd down and 10.
I haven't seen him complete one of those. You know,
and he's tried a lot of them.
Done it time after time. And just compose yourself. You're going to get away here. Okay, you can get away. You didn't have to necessarily flip that one. Could have reset himself and actually completed that pass. Of course, an incompletion stops the clock with 12 seconds left.
The Browns, if they can somehow figure out a win here, would be a game back of Baltimore, who beat Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving night. And with Tennessee and the Jets struggling today, Browns would find themselves very much in it.
Number 99 defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
There's Derek Marks, who picks it up with a look at first-year head coach Gus Bradley, who has kept this team afloat since the bye after an 0-8 start. They've gone 2-1, and they're circling right now over their 3rd win here in 4 games.
What was the area he said that they had no flexibility in terms of turning over this roster? It was in the secondary, something they prided themselves on when he was the coordinator of a great defense and a great secondary in Seattle. Well, this is where defensive backs win you football games. You cannot allow an explosive play for a touchdown with 12 seconds remaining in the game.
Brandon Weeden on 2nd down and 5. That's Devon Bess. Hemmed in. They got the 2 timeouts. Brought down by Harris. Takes it to the 47. Picks up 10. It is another 1st down, but just 6 seconds remaining in regulation.
And what does that mean?
Aiden was the guy that was beaten on the go-ahead touchdown pass of 20 yards to Cecil Shorts.
Yes, on the double move, one that he should not have given up. If he lays back on that, he'll probably intercept it and in the ball game. If they catch it in front of him, the worst-case scenario, Jacksonville kicks a field goal to tie the game, and we're playing in overtime.
Do you go for the end zone here, or do they have time to go for something a little bit shorter?
You got to throw it into the end zone. 7 seconds is about all you have for one final play.
4 defenders inside the 5 for Jacksonville and out of camera view. And
Paul Start, number 15. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down. There is the clock was not running.
That's critical. I mean, it puts you that further away from the end zone. And from where they were, you'd like the arm strength of Weeden to be able to throw it into the end zone. Hopefully you get a bounce of the ball and someone catches it while standing in the end zone for a game-winning touchdown. This one may have to go right around the 10 to the 5-yard line.
He's got the arm to do it, and here we go. Final play, it looks like, of regulation. Weeden going deep. The jump ball knocked away by Brzezinski. 42. No time left. Jacksonville has come back to beat Weeden and the Cleveland Browns. The Jacksonville Jaguars have now won 3 of their last 4. They've won 3 consecutive road games. They beat Houston last week. And the Browns have lost 6 of their last 7 and 3 straight games.
Ball just batted down. It does make it into the end zone. Plenty of time and arm strength from Weeden to get the ball into the end zone, but no Browns receiver can come down with it. Greg Little is to the back of the end zone. Everyone's well guarded and defended as they just ward off and shield off Josh Gordon, and Gus Bradley comes in here and gets a win as he shakes the hand of Josh Gordon, who had himself a whale of a ball game. 5
lead changes, 3 in the 4th quarter. Coming up next, Game 2 of the NFL on CBS doubleheader. NFL Today Update presented by Aflac is coming up next from New York. We'll take you to New York for all those scores and highlights right after this. We'll see you tomorrow night on the radio with Dan Fouts on the Monday night game in Seattle. A big win for Jacksonville, 32-28.